had 82 strikeouts. He could throw hard. And we're just about ready to go as Tom Tierney steps in. And Tierney takes down low for a ball. Tierney, an all-county player this year. All-county quarterback. What an athlete this young man is, Carl.
Superb athlete, and he showed some of that ability yesterday, as we said, when he drove in that winning run to right field. Went with the pitch. He did what he was supposed to do.
He was 1 for 4 yesterday. Bounces one on the left side, deep in the hole. DiMatteo with a long throw will not get him. So Tierney with the speed beats out the infield single. And Plainedge has the leadoff batter on a single to the shortstop.
Barry, we talked about how both teams are strong up the middle. Even though Tierney does reach on the infield hit, watch the play of DiMatteo going into the hole. One thing about these guys out on the field, they're smart enough. He catches the ball. He sets. He could have thrown off balance, but he set himself, and that does enable Tierney to get in there, but it also prevented any kind of wild throw off balance.
DiMatteo, a threat to run. He's stolen 14 of 15 bases. And the first pitch to John Musmacher in the dirt. Good stop by the catcher, Tom Tuttle. And what an improvement he's been all year.
He's just done an outstanding job. They needed a catcher. Tuttle went behind the plate. It's his first year back there. He's handled his pitching staff well. He has adjusted well. But both catches today, Barry, there's a long, deep backdrop.
Pop-up on the right side. First baseman, Scary, shielding his eyes from the brilliant sun here. Had a little bit of trouble with it, Carl, but puts it away for out number 1. So John Musmacher hitting .412 is retired. Tierney .449. As you mentioned earlier, both teams with a lot of contact, consistent hitters throughout the lineups. Not any easy outs in these lineups.
In yesterday's ball game, I can't remember a high school game in which both teams had so many hard-hit balls.
So batting now will be number 27, Matt Mushorn. 1 on, 1 out. Runner is going, and Tuttle's throw in the dirt. He will not get him. Tierney sliding in safely as the base umpire down there, Mark Tan, makes the call.
Well, you mentioned Mark Tan. He'll be working down the third base line. The first base umpire is Gary Goodside. Behind the plate is Walt Zarzicki. These umpires will work the entire series. They worked yesterday. If it goes to Game 3, they will work Game 3.
Stolen base will be a big part of this game, Carl, because both teams play so well defensively. You scratch and claw and try to get runs any way you can, and that's the way these teams operate.
Well, that's Levittown Division baseball wrapped up in a nutshell, as is for Plainedge. And in high school baseball in general, Barry, any way you could put him across the plate, you do so.
Mushorn has had an outstanding year. He's only a sophomore, 6 foot, 165 pounds, batting .397. Excellent speed and power. And he takes down low for a ball, so the count goes to 2-0. Hits the ball hard in the alleys. Had a tendency earlier, Carl, with a loop in his swing. He's made a nice adjustment and improved that swing.
Well, that's why he's in the number 3 hole.
5 for 13 in the playoffs. Drills one up the alley in right center field. Decker on the run, won't get it. It bounces to the wall. A run will score. Rounding second, heading the third, Mushorn. Here's the throw. They may get him. He slides in safely. Great relay throw from Marcus Mazza in right field. But the speed of Mushorn provides the first run as he drills it up the alley and goes to third with a triple.
Great piece of hitting by Mushorn, who just went with Doug Robbins' pitch, Barry. He kind of just flipped his wrist. Just watch him. He makes contact, a fastball away, goes with it to right center field. Now, Decker does chase it down. It's a good hitting ballpark, 356 as you see the sign. But watch the relay. Marcus Mazza, one of the best defensive players in all of Long Island. A strong throw to Izzo, but Mushorn just slides in there safely with a triple, 1-0.
So Plainedge jumping off early. Here's Don Whiston. Swings and tips it back off the glove of Tommy Tuttle for strike 1.
Now, even as he's a number 4 hitter, Barry, in high school baseball, watch any opportunity they can bring him in. The infield is back. First and third are in. Watch for the squeeze.
Whiston hitting .362, being recruited by a lot of colleges. And he takes a changeup for a strike. Good-looking pitch that time as Dougie Robbins changed up on it.
He might have to change up because I think the book is that Plainedge is a good fastball-hitting club. You've got to show him the fastball, but you also have to tease him a little bit with some off-speed stuff.
Whiston was 1 for 3 yesterday with an RBI single. Chops one toward third. Runner's coming home. He will score. The throw on to first, not in time. As Izzo's throw to first, not in time to beat Whitson. So a couple of infield hits and a ringing triple have provided a couple of runs for Plainedge as they jump in front early 2-0.
Nothing more aggravating than that swinging, rolling bunt down the third base line. Izzo was in tight, but he just hops this ball, and Whiston is showing some great speed going down the line. Now, Izzo does what he's supposed to, makes a strong throw, but Whiston getting down there. Gary Goodside in front of the play, calling him safe.
Well, he has driven in the winning run in a couple of games in the playoffs this year. Dom Cataldo, the batter, and he takes a curveball in for a strike. Cataldo hitting .317 in the playoffs, 2 for 11. He had a game-winning homer against Mineola, Carl, and a 1-0 victory. They've won a lot of cliffhangers this year.
They've shown Barry, throw back and he's safe. They have shown Plainedge, that is, that they can win the close games. They will not give you a ball game.
Wisson, a threat to run. Had a shoulder injury late in the year last year. Hurt him. He's going. Pitch out. Tuttle's throw. They got a chance to get him. He's out at second base. Tuttle putting it perfectly on the money. Mazza with the tag, and they get out number 2.
Well, I don't know if that was Tuttle's call on the pitch out or if it was one of the coaches for Levittown Division, but it was a picture-perfect play. Watch Tuttle. He's setting up out there. He does call that pitch out. Now watch the strong throw to Mazza on the inside part of the bag, and they are able to nail Wiston going down.
You know, Doug Robbins says that Tuttle, a first-year catcher, if we take another look, is the best throwing catcher he's ever had, Carl. That's saying something with all the great catches they've had at Division.
And he had a guy that's playing at New York Tech right now that could well be drafted next week, and we're talking about Pete Polis.
2 runs in and a swing and a miss. So Robbins getting him to bite at the curveball. Seems that his curve and his changeup are giving the hitters more trouble than that fastball in the early going, Carl.
Oh, I think he's going to have to stay with that pitch a little bit more than he might like to.
Cataldo only 5'6", great power for a little guy, and he drills that one up the alley in left center field, and not going to get it is Charlie Decker. Bounces all the way back to the wall, and pulling up at second, rounding second. He's going to try to third. Here's the throw by DiMatteo. The slide, he's out. So the Levittown defense coming up with a couple of big plays defensively. Otherwise, this might have been a gigantic inning.
And a great hustle by home plate umpire Walt Zarzicki getting down the line because Mark Tan has to go out to watch the replay. Gary Goodside came down the line from first to be at the plate, but tremendous defensive play again by Levittown Division. They will not beat themselves. Just watch, this one is drilled by Cataldo, and it is left center field by Decker. Now, this is a good hitting ballpark. Now, Decker will come up. DiMatteo this time on the relay. Izzo, the high throw, but brings it down very quickly, and there's Zarzicki right on top of the play.
2 runs, and we go to the bottom of the first inning with Plainedge leading 2-0. McGrory as he has a 2-run lead. Let's take a look, Carl. John Prendamato at first base. Around at third, John Musmacher. Excellent up the middle, Carl, and Steve Moresco and Greg Kalura. Both teams have about as good a infield up the middle that you're going to have. The outfield can run, especially in center, Donnie Whitson and Tom Tierney in right field, Matt Mushorn, the left fielder. The pitcher is Bob McGrory, the catcher J.R. Scarlatus, and he's going to be busy trying to throw out runners today. Had a good game yesterday. And here's Bob McGrory warming up.
Now, we talked about McGrory with Tom Pisani before the game. A battler out on the mound, Barry. He throws the fastball for strikes. His curveball is a little bit more like a slider, so the curveball will be more of a harder variety. It's not really a curveball, as Pisani said. Look for some good control out of him, and I asked Pisani today, I said, who's behind McGrory? He named about 4 or 5 guys because he's in the situation, Barry. It's not do or die for Plainedge. It's do or die for Levittown Division. He could go with just about anybody in the hole.
Well, they have John Prendamato, who plays first base, as a possible pitcher. 5 innings in a first playoff game, gave up 4 hits and walked 2 in beating Mineola 4-3. He's got a record of 13-0 over the last 2 years, 7-0 in league play this year, and he's been given a 2-0 lead here as we begin the first inning. And it'll be Levittown Division leading off here with Terry Stanley batting. 0 for 1 yesterday. Stanley, the left fielder. And these are contact hitters. .398 last year, hitting .414 this year. He was the county MVP of the tournament last year, Carl.
And Doug Robbins moved him back to the leadoff spot. Stanley has been nursing a bad hamstring. He talked to him before the game. They decided he can go. He will go hard because they said, is he going to stop your running game? And Doug Robbins said, he's got to go. There's no tomorrow.
And McGrory, who needs to have good control. He's not an overpowering pitcher, misses. And it's 2-0. Stanley hits the ball up the middle, hits the ball in all fields. Worked on his defense quite a bit, has turned himself into a fine outfielder. Waiting the 2-0 pitch. He's a threat to run if he gets on. He stole 19 of 21 bases.
When they were facing elimination, Barry, he had a big pinch hit single against North Shore to bring in a couple of runs and a comeback win in Game 2 of the double elimination round.
Hasn't done that much so far in the playoffs. Had a pulled muscle, as you said, Carl, and pinch hit in the early part of the playoffs, but they need him, and he's a spark plug. 414 hitter this year, and you know he'll be taking here. And the strike call is made by home plate umpire Wally Zarzicki.
Now, yesterday, Levittown division did the exact thing. They were able to get runners on, Barry. They couldn't bring them around. They left something like 12 or 14 runners on base.
3-1 pitch. Chopped down the first base side. Prendamano off the bag. Throws high to first, but the pitcher covers Bob McGrory. Looked like he didn't want to swing at that one, Carl.
Looked like he didn't want to swing. It also looked like Stanley, even though there is no tomorrow, as Doug Robbins, his coach, said, still looks like he's running a little bit gingerly down that first base side. Now, it's easy to get loose today. It's about 90 degrees, so if you're going to let it hang out, today's the day to do it.
Here's quite a story. Marcus Mazza, 5'7", 145-pound junior, moved to from Queens, played at Christ the King last year for Steve Corsi, or actually played with Steve Corsi when he was there, and he was the #1 pick to recall of the Blue Jays.
Now, can you imagine coming from a program, Bobby Oliva, Christ the King, one of the best programs in baseball across the country, also in basketball, and he comes over and he says to Doug Robbins, I just moved to Levittown, can I play ball? And here he is.
372 batter. He's had 32 hits and 86 at-bats, and the count goes to 2-0. He's had a double, 2 homers, 18 RBIs, both in the same game against Cary earlier in the year. He's a spray hitter.
One word to describe him, Barry, pesky.
Line drive hitter. He get on base any way he can. He was on base 3 times yesterday, Carl. He walked a couple of times and was 1 for 2.
Type of kid that's not afraid to look the ball into the mitt. Type of kid that doesn't mind being up at the plate with 2 strikes on it because he has that much confidence where if he doesn't like the pitch that's called strike 2, he'll be ready before that next one is called on him.
Drills that one down the left field line. Foul ball. Third base umpire right there on the play, Mark Tan, signifying foul, and we know Mark very well, that fella from Merrick.
From Merrick, and Walt Zarzicki behind the plate is from New Hyde Park, and Gary Goodside over there is Mark. He's from Merrick, and Gary Goodside is from Plainview, but Mark is in his 8th county final. He's also going up to the States this year with Joe Fasano, who's working in Class C baseball today.
Carl Place playing Valley Stream North. Carl Place winning the first game in an exciting game, 1-0. Now, here's a big pitch coming now. Swing and a miss. He got him on that change curveball. And it's strikeout number 1. Mark Mazza goes down. Mazza usually makes contact there, but Mark gets retired on the strikeout.
That was a true curveball, not like Coach Fasani was telling us that his curve is more like a slider. That was indeed a curveball that was up high in the strike zone. Mazza just swung through it.
So the batter, the left-handed batting Tommy Tuttle, 0 for 4 yesterday. He's the catcher. And Tuttle hitting .472 on the year, 13 doubles, 2 triples, 2 homers, 30 runs scored. And he is a threat on the bases, too.
And not because he's a catcher, but this guy does not play the game without having his uniform get dirty.
He's got power to all fields, but he missed that McGrory pitch. He's going to become a more disciplined hitter, more selective at the plate, striking out less than he did earlier in his career, and has 34 RBIs, Carl, so he was a clutch hitter for this ball club. Fouls that one away. In the playoffs, in 5 games, he has had 5 base hits, 3 doubles, a triple, and 5 RBIs.
There's Doug Robbins. What a job. What a gentleman. Tremendous for high school baseball. Tom Pisani doing a great job with Plainedge on the other side, but Doug Robbins been around baseball a long time here on Long Island.
That one hit to center field. Whitson has the legs to run it down. Deep left center field. He's over and makes the catch. So McGrory retires the side 1, 2, 3. Tuttle hit it a long way, but Donnie Whiston, the all-conference football and basketball player, came up with the catch in center field. We have completed 1, and the Red Devils of Plainedge lead the Blue Dragons of Levittown 2-0.
A commitment to intellect, a commitment to you. In the true tradition of liberal learning, Adelphi provides a new era of education and self-exploration.
There's a lot of big school atmosphere, but at the same time, it's very personalized. The classes are small, and the professors know who you are.
For more information, write to the Office of Admissions at Adelphi University, Garden City, New York, 11530. Experience the commitment. Experience Adelphi University.
Barry Landers along with Carl Reuter, along with some of the folks who've come down here on an afternoon to watch some baseball.
Barry, and yesterday, game one, they played it over at Eisenhower Park. Today, we're at New York Tech. And yesterday was a later game in the afternoon. It was a 4 o'clock start as opposed to today's early start. If I had to guess, there must have been about 1,000 people watching the game. They were lined up down both foul lines extended. Tremendous crowd, as the East Meadow Calhoun game did yesterday. We'll have that one as well. But Plainedge has done a good job, and these two communities are well supported.
Carl, you look at them, it's not just in one sport that these communities excel in. Plainedge football, a couple of years ago with Tommy Pisani coaching the basketball team, what a great Cinderella story they were then when they won the County B championship. And baseball, as you mentioned, the last few years they've been outstanding.
Well, you're talking about a division high school, too, Barry, that has a great lacrosse program. And in years gone by, great football program.
Greg Moresco, the shortstop, Greg Moresco will lead it off here, and he takes up high for a ball.
Call him the Stick. He plays shortstop. He's tall and lanky, and he looks like Stick Michael from his days with the Yankees.
All-county last year as a junior and this year as well. Does it with his glove, Carl, because he only batted .296. He's been compared to Kevin Elster as a shortstop. We mentioned the great
only
fielding
hit
ability.
.296, huh?
Well, for high school.
If I hit .296, I might have been all world. No, in high school, sometimes, 300, a lot of times people don't pay attention. But, hey, still, .296 is quite an average. I like that. 2
doubles, 4 triples, 2 homers, 20 RBIs. He's got a tough streak in him. In the playoffs, he's done well, 5 for 12. 2 homers in the Island Trees victory, the only easy game they had when they won 16-6. And he will start the inning off getting hit by the pitch. So uncustomarily, Doug Robbins hitting a batter. Usually his control is near flawless.
Well, he usually does have flawless control. Get a watch. It was an off-speed pitch. He's not throwing at anybody. Doesn't mean any intent to harm here. Just threw behind him. But in the North Shore game, in game 2 of the double elimination, Robbins had some trouble finding the plate. He hit a couple of batters as well. So that was the early going. This is the early going. He will settle down. He is a competitor on the mound.
Doug has improved with better command, better location in this year as far as pitching is concerned. This is John Prendamano, the first baseman. Had a good ball game yesterday, 2 for 3.
Including the big triple to start off the bottom half of the 7th. Scored the winning run.
Left-handed batters. You could see all division last year as a junior. Takes outside for a ball, hitting .356 with 3 doubles, a couple of homers, 27 RBIs. So he'll knock some runs in. Walked 21 times, so he has a good eye, and has struck out only 5 times.
And all of a sudden, Barry, excuse me, the flag is, he's got him.
Got Moresco leading, so another Levittown Division defensive play coming up with their 3rd big play as they pick off Greg Moresco at first base.
You know, Barry, there have been 4 outs in this game, and the ball hasn't been hit. The ball hasn't been hit on 3 of the 4 outs that Plainedge has gotten. Now watch the move. He had him leaning. A good throw. I don't know. That hand might have gotten back in there, but they call him out. But they had a runner thrown out. They had a runner thrown out stealing, and now the pickoff.
And that could be costly as that one drilled into left center field. Run down out there by Terry Stanley. Runner is going to go for a second. Prendamano will make it. So again, if you look back at all these chances that Plainedge has had, Carl, and have had Levittown's division been a little bit shaky, this could have been a 5 or 6-0 ball game instead of only 2-0.
Levittown is fortunate enough to be in the ball game trailing 2-0. On the other side, Plainedge, I think, would be a little bit upset that they're only leading 2-0 as you look at Prendamano standing at second base following that double, because division, we said these teams won't beat themselves. Plainedge is not beating themselves because they've been thrown out on the base. You have to make a guy throw to get caught.
J.R. Scarlatus at the plate, takes a fastball from Robbins for a strike. 1 on, and we've got a runner at second base. Scarlatus, 5'8", 195, Carl.
And I think that's one of the reasons he's not having the hitting year that he had last year.
Going to be a tough play for Mazza behind the bag at second. Strong throw gets him. Scarlatus does not run that well, nearly as well as some of the other players on this team. He's a fine football player. Middle linebacker on the football team.
Just to pick up really quickly, Scarlatus, from what I understand, I guess worked out with a lot of weights over the winter. It hasn't affected his catching behind the plate, but I think he's bulked up so much, he's had trouble getting around on fastballs this year. I watched him get tied up twice yesterday on fastballs up and in.
Scarlatus was 0 for 2 in yesterday's ballgame. Here's Greg Calora, the second baseman. Keep your eye on a possible squeeze play here. Plainedge will try, as we said, anything to put a run home. And Calora, an excellent glove man, batting .307, misses that one. He's had 3 doubles, a couple of triples, 8 RBIs, And according to his coach, he and Mr. Maz at second base can turn the double play as well as anybody in Nassau County. Breaking ball, didn't do anything there, Carl. And the count now is, what, 2-1? Yep.
In fact, he better bring that pitch down a little bit. That was just up a little bit. If that's over the plate, it could be bye-bye.
Kaluru hits to all field, sends one down the right field line. Tough run for Smith, but Chris Smith makes the catch for out number 3. So Plainedge dodges another bullet in that second inning, or rather Levittown Division dodges a bullet in that second inning. As we have no runs, a hit, and we go to the bottom of the second inning with Levittown Division coming up and trailing by a score of 2-0.
Tech Center, the power to succeed.
Barry Landers along with Carl Reuter here at sunny and steamy New York Tech, where the field's in great condition. And there is Pete Polis.
Pete Polis, if they back it up a little bit, Pete Polis was over there. He was part of that crowd sitting on the cement there. But outstanding game being played so far, Barry. You don't like to harp on it, but hey, Levittown's lucky that they're only trailing 2-0. They've got to get the bats going.
Doug Robbins certainly not sharp, while Levittown Division went down 1-2-3 in the top half of the first inning, actually the bottom half of the first. They'll bat here in the bottom of the second with Mark Izzo, the cleanup batter, followed by Mike Schneidler and Doug Robbins.
Keep going. There's Pete Polis right there on the end. He's just bending down. There he is. The guy in the white and the red hat just walked by him. He's sitting right next to Pete Polis. There he is. Pete just got a tap, shake of hands there, no shirt on, enjoying the sunshine. Why not? When you're going to get drafted, possibly playing in the major leagues, I'd be happy too.
So here's the powerfully built Izzo at 6'2", 202-pound senior and member of the National Honor Society, going to Amherst.
Outstanding young man, Barry. Outstanding.
407 hitter this year. 81 at-bats, has struck out only twice this year. 5 doubles, 2 homers, 27 ribbies. And a strong playoff, 7 for 16. Check swing, tough play for the third baseman. And as he comes in quickly, the throw will not be in time. Good play that time by Musmacher, but not able to beat the runner at first base. So they get the infield hit on the excuse-me tapper.
Well, when the number 4 hitter is up leading off, you don't expect him to have a swinging roller down the third base line. And Musmacher playing third base is playing deep because Izzo is a power hitter. Just unfortunate for Plainedge, but very fortunate for the Levittown Division to get the leadoff guy on. For this man here, Mike Schneidler, Barry, he is one heck of a player. It was a losing pitcher yesterday. His dad is running right behind the cage now. Has to be up there when his son is up at the plate. This guy has a gym in his attic, and he has a batting cage in his backyard.
The 6'170-pound senior, C.W. Post, is where he'll be playing, Carl. And that's, of course, right next door to here at New York Tech.
His dad is Howie Schneidler, sitting right behind the plate, one of the biggest fans of Levittown Division, not because his son is on the team, just a big, big high school baseball fan.
He's the tying run at the plate. Again, drawing a throw is Mark Izzo. Izzo doesn't run much. He's stolen only a couple of bases this year. He's 2 for 2. Schneidler batting .320 with 5 doubles, 3 triples, a homer, 21 RBIs. Good eye has walked 25 times, and throw again to first base. McGrory paying a lot of attention for a guy who doesn't usually run.
I wouldn't really pay attention to a guy that doesn't run, and you're up 2-0. You've got a good number 5 hitter at the plate. He's up on the bat, likes to make contact, will make contact. Don't worry about Izzo at first.
He goes up the middle most of the time as a hitter. Schneidler takes up high for a ball, has occasional power when he pulls it. But he'll put the ball in play.
Yeah, he hit a scorcher yesterday, a rope out to left center field that was caught.
He was 1 for 3 in yesterday's 3-2 loss to Plainedge.
His dad is going crazy down there. His dad looks young enough to play. I can't believe that his son is graduating high school, going to college. His dad looks like he's young enough to be on this team.
And that one taken for a ball, so it's 2-0. So very quickly, Bob McGrory, the senior right-hander, putting himself in a bit of a hole. The on-deck batter is Doug Robbins. And Robbins had 2 for 3 yesterday. including an RBI and a stolen base.
It's important for Levittown Division to get it going early, Barry. They've been leaving too many runners on base throughout the playoffs.
Down low, so McGrory one pitch away from putting runners at first and second with nobody out.
Suddenly there's a little breeze, so the temperature's now 88 degrees, but the breeze is blowing out towards right field. It's a hitter's park, only 356 for the gap in right center, 350 to the gap in left center.
And they hit some shots yesterday down there but were with no fences there. The ball just kept traveling. That's taken for a strike, and it's 3-1. Now, Carl, you're talking about Schneidler as a pitcher, and that's where he's really being recruited. 10-1 record this year, and before losing the tough playoff game yesterday.
I believe he was the losing pitcher in the 1-0 first-round game that they lost to Beth Page when they were no hit. He only gave up one hit.
And the good eye draws walk number 26, and that put runners at first and second for Dougie Robbins. Nobody out here, and Doug Robbins Sr., the father of Doug Robbins, got to be happy as he coaches down at third base. And what do you think they're going to do here? Would you sacrifice with your number 6 hitter, who's 279 hitter, and has struggled a little bit at the plate this year?
Flat-out answer, no. I let Doug Robbins swing the bat because when Robbins doesn't pitch, Doug Robbins is usually in there as a designated hitter. I think they've got to get something going. Maybe a little hit and run, but I don't think they'll give up the bat with a sacrifice. But then again, I don't know.
Dougie is 6'1", 175-pound senior. You've been quoted often in that area, Carl. I don't know.
Maybe too many times.
Dowling College is where he'll be attending next year on a full scholarship. 279 batter.
John DeViti over there, the coach.
Only regular, not hitting over 300. Well, he does square a bunt. McGrory off the mound, looks at second, throws, and he gets him. Throw on to first, not nearly in time. But a gamble by McGrory, and they came up with the out at second base. You don't often see that, Carl, when they'll come off the mound. Usually they'll either try to get the lead runner. You don't often see him get him at second base, but McGrory made a good throw, and they got the out at second.
I'm really surprised that he did lay one down, but I guess Robbins, the coach at third, knows the team is struggling. He's got to get something going, so now he's got the perfect scenario in high school baseball. It's a team that loves to run. Nothing better than first and third. There's only one out. Anything can happen.
And a 321 hitter, Chris Scari is the batter, the first baseman, another nice-sized youngster, 6'1½", 165-pound junior. Had the key hit in the Beth Page series earlier this year. Had 9 RBIs in 3 games.
Re-entry rule, Barry. Jimmy Feister running for Robbins. There's a re-entry rule. Each starter is allowed to come out once in the game. So the re-entry rule here. So you've got to believe with Feister in at first base. Is it Feister? Feister. I think it's Feister. He's going to steal because he's a little guy. It looks like he's got some wheels.
All right, Carl. We'll keep an eye on him as Scary, a 321 hitter with 5 doubles, a triple, 20 RBIs. Fouls that one back over the dugout.
Over the dugout, over the fence, and Barry ran the other way.
Chris is a contact hitter, likes to go up the middle. They're looking for 2 up the middle. Well, at second base, Greg Kalura, the shortstop, Steve Moresco.
Either way, 4'6", 6'4", you'll see a great twist in the middle if the opportunity comes about.
Jimmy Feister edging away at first base, and McGrory trying to pay him some attention. Quick tag by Prendamato, who's a fine fielding first baseman.
And he's also that left-hander, so he doesn't have to reach across his body. He'll come down and slap the tag right there. It's on his right hand, that glove.
Well, Levittown Division loves to use the squeeze play. You think they might put something on here?
I'm already 0 for 1. I think they'll steal.
Scary takes down low, so McGrory having a little bit trouble with his control here in this second inning.
A point to mention, too, Barry. You mentioned control. Now, remember, Scarlatos, the catcher for Plainedge, and Tuttle, the catcher for Levittown Division. They've got to hurry. Yesterday, there was a backstop that was only 10 feet behind him at Eisenhower, and there was an overhang. Now it's a 60-foot drop to the backstop, and there's no overhang. They've got to be quick.
Set, and the pitch. Runner not going. Breaking ball ripped into left field for a base hit, and it's a 2-1 ball game. Feister down to second, holds on there, and Chris Scary with the ringing base hit, his 21st RBI of the year. We've got a 2-1 ball game.
We got a 2-1 ball game. Tom Casey, the coach over at first base for Doug Robbins, talking it over with Chris Scary. Just hit a frozen rope. It was an off-speed pitch. He stayed with it. Drives it into left field. The runner coming down the line scoring was Izzo, who led off the inning with an infield hit. First and second for Levittown Division. They trailed 2-1.
And going out to have a word with his pitcher will be J.R. Scarlatus, the catcher. Scarlatus has thrown out 60% of the runners that have gone, and you've got to worry about Scar. He can run, Carl. 13 of 14 stolen bases. So with runners at first and second, Feister, also a guy who can run. Chris Smith, the batter, a .321 hitter. The right fielder who was a first-year varsity player, was a lacrosse player last year, played for Jimmy Amon, decided to give up lacrosse and come out for baseball. It's been a pleasant surprise.
Well, maybe because Amon left Levittown Division, went over to Bethpage, said, I'll try Doug Robbins now in the springtime.
At .321, has some pop in his bat, hits to all fields.
Got a nice lead at second, Feister.
Unusual way he holds the bat, Carl, as we saw in that first pitch. Looked like he was almost edging like he wanted to bunt that ball. He was almost presenting the bat.
Well, you know what it is? When I played, Coach Jim Grady, he had the fake bunt and swing type of thing where you're going to fake. You were almost crouched over, and you look like you're going to lay it down. Just try to grab the bat again and just try to chop the ball past the infield.
Play on at second base. It looked like Kalura wanted to throw there, but instead coming to the plate and taking down low. And McGrory wanted that pitch, was not happy with the non-call there by home plate umpire Wally Zerzicki.
Oh, that's an easy name. You know, people ask, how do you spell Zerzicki? I said, just put every name in the alphabet that you want and then just stick a vowel at the end.
Nice guy.
What the heck of a guy. Yeah.
Smith awaiting the pitch. Tapped it foul at the plate, pounced on by that quick catcher Scarlatus.
He is quick as a cat. I saw him throw out a runner yesterday. He just got up and he fired down to second base. Had a little trouble in the later innings, but he has a cannon for an arm behind the plate.
Both catches, as we mentioned, outstanding throwing arms. He's a fire plug kind of a guy, Scarlatus, 5'8", 195. Big pitch coming here to Smith. 2 on, 1 out. Tap back to now, could be 2. Throw to second, and a mix-up there. Safe at second base. The shortstop, Steve Maresco, flashed in front of Greg Kalora, who was looking like he was in perfect position to take the throw. And on the miscue there, the miscommunication, the bases are loaded here. We'll have to call out a fielder's choice call. And the bases are loaded. That could be a costly mistake.
I don't understand. There had to be a mix-up between Kalora at second and Maresco, the shortstop. Now, that's a comebacker with a right-handed batter. I would have to think Kalora should be covering second base. Now, he went over there. Now, he gets screened out. You see that? Because what happened was McGrory, the pitcher, was looking for Maresco. Maresco wasn't there. Kalora went behind the bag. There was a mix-up on the coverage, but with a right-handed batter on the comebacker, second baseman should have been covering that. But now bases are loaded.
So we've got the bases loaded right now, as we've got Feister at third, Scary at second, Smith at first on the fielder's choice, and Charlie Decker, a .417 hitter, hitting in the number 9 spot here. What a spot for Decker. And he takes the first pitch from McGrory for a strike.
He's been having some trouble at the plate, though, Barry.
Long ball hitter, loves to run as well. Outstanding defensive player. 7 doubles, 7 triples, Carl. Show you he can run. 2 homers, 12 RBIs, or rather 27 RBIs. Weak swing, fouls that one down the first base side, fielded by Tom Casey.
Congratulations to Tom Casey, Sr. We have a Doug Robbins, Jr. and a senior out here. Well, Tom Casey, the coach over at first base for Levittown Division, his dad over at Great Neck for so many years, athletic director. They had a retirement dinner for him just a week or so ago. He's retiring at the end of this school year, so our congratulations to him.
He's a great guy. McGrory wanted the inside corner on that one, didn't get it.
Boy, this is a merry-go-round situation right here. I believe the umpire, Walt Zarzicki, just gave the count at 2-1.
So bases loaded for Decker. Levittown Division trailing 2-1, 1 out here. Weak swing by Decker on that one, and he is out of there.
Well, it was 1-2.
Big strikeout, the second of the ball game for the young right-hander Bob McGrory. And he'll now face the leadoff batter, Terry Stanley.
See, that's the situation that Doug Robbins doesn't want to get in. He's got a situation. He's got to take advantage of breaks. They've been leaving too many runners on, and you have bases loaded and 1 out. Just put the ball in play in the high school level, and you're probably going to come out with it with a run.
So Stanley, with a chance to put his club in front. He was the county tourney MVP last year. Bounces that one right to the shortstop. This time, no mistake made. Maresco to Kalora, and a good job of pitching by Bob McGrory, who should have been out of the inning a couple of batters before that, but he bounces back to get Decker on strikes, and the tough Stanley on a bouncer to short. We've played 2, and it's 2-1. Plainedge over Levittown Division. Would not be a bad idea on a day like today. But Carl, I'm going to do a little lacrosse hopping. You may be doing a little softball, but congratulations to a couple of Nassau County lacrosse teams that have made it to the Nassau County B finals. No surprise, Garden City, a big win over Bethpage, and another exciting game. Manhasset came out on top, knocking off Lynbrook. Third time they played this year, third overtime game. It'll be Manhasset, Garden City, the two great traditional powers playing for the Nassau B Championship Friday night. We'll be on hand at Hofstra.
We'll be on hand. The folks, if they can't get out there, they can watch it on the Long Island Sports Network, but be out there. Be part of what I think is going to be a crowd of about 4,000 or 5,000 people at Hofstra Stadium.
So we go now to the top half of the third inning, and Tommy Tierney, the leadoff batter, who started the first inning with a single to left field, eventually came around to score as they came up Plainedge with a couple of runs. They lead it by a score of 2-1. And Tierney looking for a second hit, drills that one over the head of right fielder Chris Smith. Smith chasing it down. Tierney can fly. He'll pull up at second base with a double. As Smith leaped, he's a pretty tall guy out there, Smith, but it seemed to fool him a bit, Carl. That ball took off on him. That's a long way for a right-handed batter to drill that over the right fielder's head.
Well, the worst ball that you want hit at you is a ball that's slicing away off the right-handed bat, and then to make matters worse, it's a line drive. A line drive hit at you is the hardest ball to catch, and Smith did have trouble. It does go to the fence. Tierney, I thought, if he was running when he had smacked it with his speed, should have been on third base, but any time in this game, you'll take a leadoff double.
So they continue to hit. Doug Robbins, that is the 6th hit he's given up. Bounced on the left side, not what they wanted there. Musmacher bouncing to the left side. Strong throw over to first base by Joe DiMatteo. Retires the batter, but unable to move the runner over. And again, some of these plays that Plainedge has not been able to make may come back to haunt them in this game later, Carl.
It very well could, because that's the type of play. Your number 2 hitter, you want him to do something to advance the runner to third base. Now it's a runner at second and 1 out.
So Musmacher now 0 for 2, and here's Matt Mushorn, the left fielder, who tripled and had an RBI base hit back in the first inning, drove in the first run. Mushorn, a 2-year starter on the basketball team as a freshman and a sophomore, only a sophomore, Carl.
Scares you, doesn't it? That program's the rich get richer.
A real prospect. He played for the Long Island Tigers this past summer. You've seen him in the field do a fine job so far in this game. Has power, hits the ball hard in the alleys. Was 0 for 3 yesterday. Runner at second, 1 out. And it's a ball.
Doug's going to have to bring that pitch down, Robbins, as he can't leave that curveball hanging out over the plate like that, because that pitch was a little bit outside. If that baby is brought over the plate, it could be drilled.
That's the fastball taken for a strike. He has moved into the third spot of the batting order and has been a mainstay of the team this year, batting .397.
Miles are trying to keep Tierney close at second.
And he takes a ball 4 for a walk. So Mushorn on for the second time, and that'll set it up for Donnie Whiston, the all-conference player.
I don't know if that's such a bad play there. I mean, if you're losing him, don't give him anything good to hit. You do have an open base. The only problem is you have Whiston, your number 4 hitter, who can rope.
Whiston reached out an infield hit and drove in a run back in the first inning when he tapped one down the third base line that Mark Izzo had no play on. Has struggled in the playoffs. He's only 3 for 16, but had an RBI single yesterday. 2 on and 1 out, and Robbins with not much of a pitch there, Carl.
Not at all. And again, that pitch is hanging up there. He stayed away. Remember, he's getting hit early with the fastball. Then he started to get some good control with the curveball, but now he's having trouble with that.
Whiston takes the strike, and it evens the count at 1-1. He's a very aggressive hitter.
One thing I'm surprised about is defensively out in left field, Terry Stanley almost playing Whiston as if he's a left-handed hitter. There is a lot of room from the gap to the line.
Again, he misses up high, so it's 2-1. As we mentioned, Donnie, an aggressive hitter, a line drive hitter. He can carry a team when he gets hot. Had 30 RBIs as a junior last year, making all-conference. Made it again this year. Again, hanging outside, and he's in the hole now, 3-1, missing with the curveball there, Carl.
I don't know what pitch he's going to come with now. I don't think he's throwing him a lollipop 3-1 curveball. I think he's got to come in with some heat.
St. John, Seton Hall, New Haven, all interested in this young man, Whiston. And the bases are loaded, so consecutive walks to Mushorn and Whiston have left it up for Dom Cataldo, the designated hitter, who's got great power for a little guy at 5'6", 155.
He had that double back in the first inning, and he was out trying to stretch. And remember the great relay that Levittown division put on there, Barry.
Carl, he has so much power, this guy. He's built like a fire plug at 5'6", 155. He hit some moon shots this year. And we're going to get a pinch runner, I believe.
Well, we're going to have some warm-up action in Levittown Division's bullpen, making his way down the line as Brian Garcia, he's going to start warming up.
All right, Cataldo with no pinch runner. We thought we might get a runner here, designated runner, but Cataldo with the bases loaded, and what a chance to break the game open here. Hits those high fly balls to left field. They call them moon shots. Taken down low, and it's 2-0.
And Doug is coming out of the dugout. He's going to talk to his son. He's got to settle him down. He's got to slow him down because he's absolutely got no rhythm right now on the mound. He gave up the ringing double. He got Mushmacher to ground out to short, but he's walked the next two hitters. He's fallen behind, and while Robbins goes out to the mound, Pisani is now talking to his batter, Cataldo, saying, look, he's having trouble. A walk is a run here. You're ahead in the count. Don't swing until he throws you a strike right now.
He's had trouble in every inning. Gave up the 2 runs in the first. A couple of big defensive plays prevented an even bigger inning. Then in the second had more trouble. And there we look at the coach down there at third base.
Pisani.
Yep, Tom Pisani.
You have to remember, you're talking about getting in trouble. Robbins got 4 outs in this game, Barry, and he had nothing to do with it. I mean, they
Four of
threw
the
out
7 outs.
4 of the 7 outs have been on plays.
Cataldo fouls that one at the plate. Cataldo has a short, compact swing. You see the way he's built, and he really gets a lot of drive off the forearms, Carl, and the wrists for a little guy.
Well, if you have strong wrists, it doesn't matter what size you are, because you turn that top wrist over, you can drive the ball.
Cataldo had a game-winning home run, in the 7th inning in a 1-0 win against Mineola, and he'll take a ball here, and it's 3-1. No place for Cataldo with the bases loaded, 1 out. Here in the third, and Plainedge leading 2-1, looking for more.
You know, if your pitcher doesn't let the guys hit it, you can't get the guy out.
Tierney, Mushorn, and Whiston lead. Grounded to short, could be 2. DiMatteo to second. Mazes throw in the dirt. Safe at first. Good pickup by Chris Scarry. Mazes got rid of it quickly, and they almost got him at first base.
Well, you can credit that run to the guy going into second base in Don Whiston, because Whiston barreled in. DiMatteo comes up with the ball very cleanly. Does what he's supposed to do, gets rid of it in a hurry. Now watch Mazza going to get taken out pretty hard there by Whiston, barreling in. Good play by Scar. Hey, if you bring that back, I'd like to see that again, because maybe he was out at first base.
Whiston, an all-division football player, as a wide receiver. We remember him from the games we did last year involving Plainedge. So here's Greg Moresco with his club leading 3-1, hit by a pitch. First up throw to first base, gets away, and the runner will come down the line from third and score. And it's now a 4-1 ball game. So the defense, which has been so good so far of Levittown Division, deserts them there. They give up a run on what we'll have to call an error on the throw by Doug Robbins.
Without question, Doug Robbins did not help himself on the mound. It was first and third. You have to feel that Plainedge wanted to do a little bit something on the base pad. First and third, the opportunity. Robbins throwing it wide of Scarry, not able to come up with it. It went down the right field line, and that enabled another run to come down and cross the plate for Plainedge.
So the 2 walks really hurting Robbins here in the inning. Moresco now with the runner at second, his club leading 4-1. So Plainedge with 2 in the first, 2 more here in the third, leading it 4-1. This all-star shortstop chops that one down the third baseline foul. Greg's got good power to right center, can turn on the pitch, makes good contact. And according to Mr. Pisani, he's only 28 years of age, Carl. Boy, that makes us feel old. He's the second-year coach.
All of a sudden, we. Now I'm included.
Well, Carl, after you reach a certain age, I've had to include you. Bounce to third. Mark Izzo on the high hopper. Throws on. Not before the damage is done. 2 runs on just 1 base hit that inning. And we go to the bottom of the third with the Plainedge Red Devils hoping to win a county championship, leading 4-1.
What people are saying about Apple Bank.
People have been saying some pretty nice things about Apple Bank, which is making us blush a little and making other banks green with envy.
I've been with many banks over the years. Apple's definitely got some of the best rates around.
I'm a member of the Apple Bank family program, and I know I'm getting the best deal on everything.
That's what people are saying about Apple Bank. We're good for you.
Well, the Blue Dragons of Levittown Division have only lost twice this year, Carl. One of those losses have come against these Plainedge Red Devils, who've won 14 in a row. And right now, Plainedge in the driver's seat as Doug Robbins has struggled through the first 3 innings and finds his club trailing 3-1 as Levittown Division comes up here in the bottom of the 3rd.
You know, they're a good ball club. Maybe even a great ball club. Both of these teams might be great ball clubs. But in speaking to Doug Robbins and having watched Levittown Division play 2 or 3 games in the playoffs, and Doug Robbins will be the first guy to tell you. He doesn't want to downplay what's gone on here, but he'll tell you that the guys just aren't playing the type of baseball that they're capable of.
Well, they're usually a club that will get out in front of you, force you to make mistakes. And they have not been getting the big hit in the last couple of games. They've struggled in the playoffs, as we'll run down their records in the playoffs, some of the playoff games. But right now, here's a guy who hasn't struggled, a spark plug, Marcus Mazza, taking down low. He's a good bunter. Marcus struck out, one of the few times he struck out this year in his first at-bat.
Look at Mushmacher at third. Thinks he's a dead pull hitter. He's practically standing on third base.
Pretty deep for against the speed of Mazza.
Number 2 hitter in the lineup.
And as we mentioned, a good bunter. These clubs had not played each other for a couple of years. 2 years ago, they did play each other in the playoffs. And that was the year that Levittown Division went on to win the championship. There's a look at third baseman John Mushmacher. And it's up high.
Well, obviously, Tom Pisani, the coach of Plainedge, knows something that we don't know because, as you said, Barry, the number 2 hitter can handle the bat. Why, oh, why would the third baseman for the leadoff hitter be playing back and on top of the bag?
And he squares to bunt. Will take ball 4. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered for Levittown Division. As Mark Mazza starts it off with a leadoff walk, the number 2 hitter. That'll set it up for Tommy Tuttle, who was 0 for 4 yesterday, 0 for 5 today, with a out. His first time up as he flied out to center field his first time up.
Now, just because they're trailing 4-1, it's early, it's the 3rd inning. Don't think that this team will stop from running. They will stay with their game.
They know how to manufacture runs. Although in the 2nd inning, they had a great chance to have a big inning, but were unable to cash in except for the 1 run. They had the first 2 batters on board in that inning. At first and second untout. Here's Tuttle, left-handed batter. Hit .410 last year. And this year, .472, Carl. Certainly an all-county candidate.
Suddenly, McCrory has lost the plate a bit. Hey, let's face it, this is for the Nassau County Championship, and there are young kids out there. This is for all the marbles.
1 on, nobody out. McCrory to the plate. Swing and a miss. Tuttle missed that one. Took the big rip. He's got power to all fields, can drive the ball. He's had 43 hits, Carl, and only 8 strikeouts in 91 at-bats. That's very fine contact, hitting .472.
Gotta like it, almost a 500 average. You know, I asked these kids last week when I was out at the North Shore Levittown Division game.
Runners going. High drive to center field. Whiston getting a good jump on the ball. Sets up, makes the catch, runner halfway. And on the towering drive to straightaway center field, Tommy Tuttle is retired for out number 1. So he's flied twice to center field. He's 0 for 2. And Mark Izzo, who had a swinging roller infield single his first time up, will come to the plate.
And just to pick up on that, and I was talking to Doug Robbins, and in particular to Mark Izzo and Tom Tuttle, and I said, is there pressure when you put on a Levittown Division baseball uniform? And Tuttle said, you know, there is a bit of pressure because you have to remember what the teams before us have done, and we don't want to be the team to stop the streak being 13 consecutive league championships. So, yes, there is a mystique, but there is also a little bit of pressure when you play Blue Dragon baseball.
Mark Izzo batting with 1 on and 1 out. Weak swing, the second baseman back, Kalura. And he records out number 2, so Izzo now 1 for 2. on the pop-up to the second baseman.
Got tied up inside, couldn't open up, couldn't extend, and it was a weak pop-up to Kalora at second. Now, here's a guy that can get things going in Schneidler. They need something out of him. They got a good pitching performance out of him in game 1. He lost it 3-2, didn't give up too many hits. He's got to get something going. He's the type of kid that can with the bat.
And McGrory's not an overpowering pitcher. He's not going to, strike you out. He'll battle you, and he's done that job. First base, the runner is going, and the throw down to second easily stolen there by Mark Mazza. So Mazza comes up with a stolen base. He's one of the leaders on the club. He's now stolen 20 out of 21 this year.
Picked a great pitch. Scarlatos made the throw. I didn't even think he was going to. A good jump by Mazza. Then remember, there's 2 outs here, but he picked a curveball, and a high curveball indeed. Now, it's a strong throw, but you can see Mazza completely in there. There was no chance of getting Marcus down at second base.
Schneidler walked his first time up. Was 1 for 3 in yesterday's opening game of the series.
Now, here's where a hit would be a run.
Especially with the speed of Mazza. But McGrory throws the strike right there.
See Schneidler follow the ball all the way into Scarlatos' mitt. Good hitters will do that. They will see the ball all the way through.
We mentioned that he walked 26 times this year, which is a high number.
I'm sorry, Bal, with his feet very close together in the batter's box. Unusual batting stance.
Strike on the inside corner, and Schneidler had a word with the plate umpire about that one. Oh, he's in the hole right here. Batting with 2 out and a ball and 2 strikes. Levittown Division hitting in the third, trailing 4-1, facing elimination. It's a 7-inning game. They have won the Nassau County B Championship the last 2 years. Plainedge won it in 88, looking to win it in 91. Breaking ball missing, just kind of wasted that one. Getting the hope to nibble at a bad pitch.
Now I know why Pisani was telling us about that curveball being more like a slider. There's not too much of a curveball there. I think he's got to rely on the number 1, and if he has to sit on that, I think Levittown Division will eventually catch up because they'll sit back and wait for the number 1.
Set by McGrory. Swing and a miss, and he gets Schneidler on strikes. As he picks up his 3rd strikeout of the ball game, we have played 3. And the Red Devils lead the Blue Dragons by a score of 4-1.
Look what people are saying about Apple Bank.
Apple's my bank. I got everything from savings and checking to the mortgage on my summer place.
Apple's special to me. My wedding arrangements were all reserved, thanks to my Apple Visa card.
I'm a member of the Apple Bank family program, and I know I'm getting the best deal on everything.
That's what people are saying about Apple Bank. We're good for you.
Part of the crowd here at New York Tech. And they've got a good spot because they're in the shade, Carl. It's about 90-plus degrees.
There's a good spot because it's shady, but it's the worst spot because it's the worst place to watch a game from. The dugout is absolutely the worst. Horrible.
It is indeed, Carl. You know, we were mentioning congratulations to some people playing baseball here in Long Island. We certainly would like to send our congratulations to Sal Ciampi at East Islip.
You know,
they knocked off defending state champ Smithtown East to win the Class A championship, and Miller Place the B champion.
Everybody talks about Sal Ciampi. You know, you give him 11 football players, no matter what size or how talented, and he'll win with the football team. You could give him 9, 10-year-old kids, and he'll go out and win a baseball championship. That's what Sal Ciampi does. Sal Ciampi's more than a coach.
They won their first state champion. Actually, they're going for their first Long Island championship since '85. They last won the county championship in '85. As John Prendamano takes a couple of pitches for balls. Prendamano doubled back in the second inning to open the inning. Loop to the shortstop.
That's easy play.
Easy play for DiMatteo. Good pitch that time by Robbins.
He's got to get that first guy out, and he was able to do so. But one thing you can hear in high school baseball, unlike the pros, Barry, there's a lot of chatter on the infield. Your coach wants you to talk to your pitcher, even if you just yell, hey, number whatever he is, hey, 37, come on. There's nothing out there right now. Levittown Division is down. They're not alive.
You don't hear that pepper pot sound that,
No.
that was traditional with them. Scarlatus grounded out a second time. Up pops this one high in the air. The second baseman, Mazza, trying to shade his eyes, run off by the right fielder, Chris Smith. And the left-handed Chris Smith makes the catch for out number 2. So Robbins finally getting some easy outs, Carl. That's quite a big miss by that right fielder, Chris Smith.
Smith goes with, I guess, the Louis Polonia model now of the California Angels. But that is a, you could catch a basketball in that thing with no problem.
Well, Doug Robbins having his strongest inning. He has not gotten the leadoff batter in the first 3 previous innings, getting the first 2 on just a couple of pitches here. And that's got to be a good sign for his father.
And I'm going to say, too, even though it is the number 7, 8, and 9 hitters, Barry, it's a confidence builder for Robbins, saying that he can get these guys out.
Kalura goes to right field once again, and this time Smith puts it away. So a very quick inning, 1, 2, 3. First time that's happened in the ball game. And we go now to the bottom of the 4th inning right now. Levittown Division needing a rally as the Blue Dragons come up trailing by a score of 4-1.
A commitment to intellect, a commitment to you. In the true tradition of liberal learning, Adelphi provides a new era of education and self-exploration.
There's a lot of big school atmosphere, but at the same time, it's very personalized. The classes are small, and the professors know who you are.
For more information, write to the Office of Admissions, Adelphi University, Garden City, New York, 11530. Experience the commitment. Experience Adelphi University.
And we would like to thank Adelphi University, one of our proud sponsors once again this year. And while we were congratulating people, let's say goodbye and certainly congratulations to Paul Daugherty. 22 years of Adelphi lacrosse. Been a great player at Adelphi, great coach. And congratulations to Paul Daugherty as he winds up a great career at nearby Adelphi.
Super job.
Yes, indeed.
Daugherty. But right now, needing a super job is this guy. He was able to retire the side 3 up, 3 down. And now Doug Robbins will try to get it going with his bat because Levittown Division needs a spark. They need something.
Well, Division has not had many base hits in this ball game, Carl. They didn't have any in the first inning. They had a Chris Scarry base hit in the second inning. In fact, they've just manufactured 2 base hits in this ball game as we go now to the bottom half of the 4th inning. And Robbins will lead it off to be followed by Chris Scarry and Chris Smith, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the lineup. Well, we mentioned that the Levittown Division has not dominated teams this year. Certainly in the playoffs, they lost the opening game 1-0 to Bethpage in a weird game. They were no hit for the first time ever in Doug Robbins' 17-year career.
Nobody ever hears, though, that Bethpage only had 1 hit, and Levittown Division had 2 guys thrown out at the plate on pass balls, including the last out of the game.
They had to come from behind to beat North Shore 11-7. Edge Floral Park in the first of 2 games against them 4-2. Walloped them in the second 11-4. Beat Valley Stream South of 12-1. Not a very strong ball club, and then lost to Plainedge 3-2. So it has been a struggle. But this was a year for rebuilding, and in fact, Dougie Robbins pleased with this club that there's 28-2 here. Nobody would have believed it. They lost so many key players from last year. Hit sharply to the left side. Good play that time by the third baseman, Musmacher, as he ranged far to his left, Carl, and threw him out. So out number 1 as Robbins is retired.
Third base, it is the unwritten rule that you go as far as you can, even if it means ranging in front of a shortstop such as Greg Moresco. Musmacher was able to do so. It was pretty much a worm burner, but it was hit hard. Now watch him. Robbins tries to pull it. It's rolling in. Now good play. He was playing deep, cuts in front of Moresco, and then the strong throw across the diamond.
So here's Chris Scarry, who is the batter. Chris singled to center field, had an RBI base hit, the only run driven in the ball game. Came back in the second inning, and he gets another drive up the alley in left center field. Fielded on one hop by Donnie Wiston. He'll throw quickly back in a second. So Chris Scarry's about the only guy really to have the number of the right-hander Bob McGrory. He has 2 of the 3 hits.
That was a nice-looking piece of hitting done there by Scarry. And the one scary thing for a moment was Wiston looked like he was going to try to become a hero and make the catch. And then he said, you know something, we're leading by 3 runs. Watch him here, and then he backs off and says, I'll play it on the hop, keep it to a single, keep him at first base. Why let them even get anything going?
Chris Smith, the batter. Smith was 1 for 4 yesterday, the right fielder. .321 average during the season with 20 RBIs, 5 doubles, a triple, and a couple of homers. He reached on a fielder's choice back in the second inning. That was a key inning for Bob McGrory.
That's when I didn't think Doug Robbins would bunt, and he did bunt.
There were runners at that time at first and third, actually first and second. And a comebacker back to the mound was hit by Smith. Looked like they were going to turn a double play, but there was a mix-up on the coverage at second base, turned into a fielder's choice and a bases-loaded situation. Down low, he misses right here, so he's running into a little bit of trouble. On deck hitter is Charlie Decker.
Now, it looked like it was real complicated if you looked at Doug Robbins. You know something? It's the easiest thing in the world because the indicator, which would be the key to the sign, could be just a simple touch of a hat. If he went to his shirt, it could be a hit and run. Whatever the indicator is, it's usually the first sign given after the indicator. Most coaches, I mean, it's so simple. He'll touch the bill of his cap and go to his belt buckle. It could be a hit. If he goes across his chest, it could be a hit and run. If he goes to his leg and he wipes his leg, it could be a straight steal. It looks so complicated.
That man over there that you were just watching flash the signals has won nearly 400 games in high school baseball.
Almost 75% of the games. He has I don't know the exact numbers. You have them, Barry, don't you? 391 and 101. 75%.
Out of C.W. Post College, was a start Nassau Community College on their junior college championship team.
That's a
hit high and deep to center field. Donnie Whiston ranging back. Boy, he gets a nice break on the ball. Makes the catch and throws back in. Hit well by Chris Smith, but you got a guy who can run him down, as we said, in Donnie Whiston. It's a big outfield here, and he ran it down beautifully.
It's a big outfield, and Plainedge also, as did Levittown Division yesterday, played very deep. Yesterday there was no fence at the field at Eisenhower Park, but Whiston was playing deep, and there was a good pop in this there, but he gets back smoothly, makes that strong throw back to the infield, holding the runner at first base.
So Charlie Decker is batting for the second time. Decker, the smooth, fleet center fielder, who was one of the best defensive players that Doug Robbins has ever had in the outfield. Struck out with the bases loaded back in the second inning. A key point in the game when it was 2-1 at that time.
That did hurt.
Wraps that one for a base hit down the right field line. Runner rounding second, Scary, on his way to third. There'll be no throw there. And he does the job here, putting runners at first and third for Terry Stanley.
And Doug Robbins is saying, oh, Charlie, couldn't you have done that a couple of innings ago with the bases loaded? But here, he prolongs the inning. It's first and third now. You have Terry Stanley, your leadoff hitter here, gets the pitch, drives it into right field. Good little hitting there by Charles Decker, driving the ball there into right field. And Tierney comes up very quickly. And the thing that Tierney does is you look at Scary rounding second on his way to third. He didn't try to get anybody out. He didn't try to throw the ball to third. He came right back in second base to keep Decker at first base.
Well, they don't want Decker to be in scoring position. They're 2 out, runners at the corners for Stanley. They call him the Hammer. Last year, he had a tremendous playoff. Hit .398 last year, hit .414 this year. In this ball game, he is 0 for 2.
Got a big hole at shortstop, too.
Skies that one to right field. Tommy Tierney looking up in a tough sun. And he puts it away for out number 3. So, again, McGrory showing ability when he's had a couple of men on base to make big pitches. And Stanley not driving the ball. They moved him into that number 1 spot hoping that he'd be a spark plug, but he's been 0 for 3. We go to the bottom of the 4th, and Plainedge leads by 3.
Tech Center, the power to succeed.
The wind, as our producer director Larry Roth said. We could talk about the wind. There isn't really much wind blowing here. And you know something, Barry, this is a hitter's ballpark too, and regardless, I don't think you really need wind to get it out here in the gaps. It's only 350 and 356. Cheerleaders.
Who says baseball players don't have people rooting for them?
Of course they do. They're out here. Wait a minute. Isn't today a school day?
Yes,
Isn't it early? Isn't it early? Although yesterday there were some snow days given on extended Memorial Day weekend because there weren't any taken during the course of the year. It was a couple of schools closed, extended.
That was
nice little vacation.
And some of the youngsters might be able to come out and watch some baseball.
Well, one thing about it, school, work, the heck with it. They're out here watching Levittown Division and Plainedge play ball today.
Well, Tommy Tierney, who caught that last ball out in right field, will lead it off here. He's been the perfect leadoff batter, 2 for 2. That one could be trouble, and it is a base hit out of the range of Joey DiMatteo. And Tommy Tierney, 3 for 3 as he starts off the top of the 5th inning with a single to center field. He's had 2 singles and a double, picking up where he left off yesterday, Carl, when he had the game-winning hit in the 7th inning.
So he's now gone his last 4 trips to the plate with base hits, and he's hit the ball hard all 4 times.
He's an all-county player in baseball, was all-county in football, and the MVP of his league. 9 for 20 in the playoffs as we look at John Musmacher. John popped up his first time up, grounded out his second time up. Keep an eye on Tierney. He's stolen 14 for 14 back to the mound as they play for the run on the bunt. And easily thrown out. And we have 1 up and 1 down here with the runner at second base right here. And setting it up for Matt Mushorn. So if you're scoring at home, score that 1-3.
Well, they want to build. Pisani wants to build some more. He's not happy with just a 3-run lead. He wants as many as he can get.
You never have enough when you play a good baseball team, and certainly Levittown Division can come back and score in a variety of ways. Mushorn, the right-hand batter, takes a ball. He tripled his first time up to drive in a run, walked his second, so officially he's 1 for 1. As you see, he scored a couple of runs. Down low from Robbins, who had a good inning back in the 4th when he retired the side 1-2-3. But in 4 of the 5 innings, he has not been able to get that leadoff batter out.
No, and you mentioned Mushorn has scored a couple of runs back. You need your table setters, the guys at the top of the order to score the runs. Well, Tierney scored twice, the number 1 hitter. Mushorn has scored the other 2 runs, the number 3 hitter. Top of the order has done the job.
Now, Carl, as we watch Levittown Division try to stay alive, and should they win today, they will play a 3rd game. This game being played on a Wednesday afternoon. It'll be played on a Friday afternoon. The deciding game, should they be necessary. But it's so tough to repeat. I mean, you know, here's Levittown Division with the great tradition trying to win the county championship for the 3rd year in a row, and everybody's out to knock you off when you have a program like that. Same thing in the lacrosse and basketball as well.
Well, 3-peat is not easy. Ask the Detroit Pistons about it.
And how about 4-peat for the Syracuse Orangemen in lacrosse?
Ask them about it. So here, Plainedge wants to become the new top dog in Class B baseball in Nassau County.
Robbins to the plate. In the dirt, gets by the catcher, a wild pitch. Tommy Tuttle couldn't come up with it. So the single, the bunt, and now the wild pitch has put a runner at 3rd base in scoring position with 1 out for Matt Mushorn.
Now Marcus Mazza looking over at the dugout for Doug Robbins. Do they bring the infield in the top half of the 5th? We will see if they bring the infield in, and yes, they are. They have to cut off a run. There's the wild pitch. Tuttle just not able to get down in front of it to block it. It goes back a long way here at New York Tech, some 60 feet.
Mushorn, who hits the ball hard to the alleys. You see the infield in. They cannot afford to give up another run here. Remember, this is a 7-inning ball game, so Levittown Division down to the final 3 innings and trying to stage a comeback and send this series into a deciding game 3.
And with the infield in, the 200 hitter becomes a 300 hitter, a 300 hitter becomes a 400 hitter, and a 400 hitter, as is Mushorn, becomes a 500 hitter.
He's had 22 RBIs on the year. That'll be foul back out of play.
Into the crowd.
And did somebody come up with it, Carl?
I don't know. They're scrambling for it. Look, they're rolling down the hill. Somebody's got that ball. There he is. Now, is it like Wrigley Field? Do you throw it back when the other team hits one?
Well, with the austerity program that's now in effect,
Walt Zarzicki has the ball back in his hip pocket.
Big pitch coming for Robbins. He needs a strikeout here, and he will not get it as he walks the batter. So it's ball 4, and that'll set it up for a dangerous hitter, and Donnie Whiston. Whiston also is 1 for 1. Runners at the corners with 1 out here in the 5th.
Well, you got to look for now the runner at first, Mushorn, to possibly be on his horses.
He's 13 for 13 in stolen bases. Both teams will steal you blind if you don't have a great catcher and a pitcher who hold the runners on. But Whiston, a guy who can sting the ball, 362 hitter, struggled in the playoffs, has had no luck, but has hit the ball hard. Wild pitch, second one of the inning, and Robbins has given up a run here. Runner down to second base as the run crosses, and it's now a 5-1 ball game on a wild pitch, and that one really hurts.
They hurt any time, but when you're losing 4-1 and you have a chance to possibly get out of an inning, another wild pitch by Robbins makes it 5-1, and it's a good thing that Tuttle raced back for that ball in a hurry, because Mushorn got down to second in a hurry, made a big wide turn as if he was going to go to third base. However, again, down in the dirt, tried to backhand it, did not get in front of that one.
And Carl, if you look back, it was Dougie Robbins who wild pitch, or actually a pickoff, wild pickoff throw, resulted in an error at first base. That resulted in run number 4.
Yeah.
2 wild pitches here in this inning. So he's been responsible with some bad throws for a couple of runs.
And again, warm-up action as Brian Garcia trots down the left field line for Levittown Division. This might spell the end here for Doug Robbins on the mound.
But make no mistake about it, Doug Robbins has had a brilliant career at Levittown Division. Down low again in the dirt. Good job by Tuttle to keep that one in front of him and keep the runner at second base.
He's really struggling, and you know what probably is the hardest thing? I mean, Doug Robbins is his dad. He's the coach. His son is on the mound. It's got to add a little bit more pressure on both of them. Does Doug take his son out? Does he fight his father and saying, I want to stay in? It's not an easy situation.
Well, I think his decision's going to be made shortly because he walks Whiston. And we have a pitcher warming up down there.
That's Garcia, number 23, on the hill, down the left field line.
Brian, a 5'11", 160-pound junior relief specialist who can fire pretty hard. He's had 32 strikeouts.
You just have to hope it's not too late if he does come into the game, if you're a Levittown Division fan.
That's a good point, Carl. He had those 32 strikeouts in 21 2/3 innings. So here's Dom Cataldo. He has been on base a couple of times. Chops that one down the third base line. They call it foul. Marked hand right on the play. Cataldo doubled back in the first inning and was eventually thrown out trying to go to third on a fine relay throw by the shortstop Joe DiMatteo. And then he drove in a run back in the third inning when he bounced into a force play. Close play at first base. He just beat the throw on the double play attempt.
Well, that was that good slide by Whiston, getting Mazur out of there in a hurry.
You know, in this game so far, it's been Plainedge doing the little things called making the right plays, and uncharacteristically, Levittown Division not doing.
Well, you know what? Well, as we talked about in the open, too, Barry, we just touched on it briefly. If Levittown Division doesn't play Class B baseball, Plainedge dominates the headlines. I mean, they do things just as well as Levittown Division, but because Levittown has been on top so many years, people forget it that the Plainedge is playing baseball.
Don't forget that this team did get some recognition, deservedly so, in '88 when they did. When runners both go, throw down a third. Tuttle may have a shot at nailing him, and they get him.
You don't know how tough of a play that really is, because Tuttle has to throw over the head of a right-handed batter in Dom Cataldo, and he fired a strike to Izzo, and they were able to nail Mushorn down there at third base. Watch here. Here's a good jump, and you will see Izzo get to the bag. He brings down that throw in a hurry, and Mark Tan says, good night.
Well, you saw some of the good Levittown defense exhibited there.
Now watch, this is what Tuttle's looking at. Over Cataldo, makes a strong throw. Quick tag by Izzo at third.
High infield pop-up, one of those moon shots we talked about Tommy Cataldo hitting. And the shortstop makes the catch, Joe DiMatteo. But they do give up one run, and each of those runs becomes more difficult for Levittown Division to make up. We go to the bottom of the fifth inning. They've got 3 more at-bats, but they trail 5-1.
You said, I need a friend. We had a hand to lend, to keep you safe, to show you where. Some good advice to say, take care. A drugstore in your neighborhood. Ooh, you're looking good. You're looking good at Genevieve. We'll take good care of you.
Barry Landers, Carl Reuter, and not a host of thousands, but some few hundred people here watching the action at New York Tech on a warm, summery day. And we'll hope wherever you ISN coverage that you've enjoyed it throughout the year. A lot of exciting lacrosse coverage coming your way. The Nassau County Class A and B championships. You'll see Garden City against Manhasset in the B championship. The A champions to be determined as they play the semifinals. Farmingdale, the outstanding team, which has lost only once this year. They've got a good shot at making it, Carl, for another chance. Port Washington, defending champ. They'll be playing as well against Baldwin. And the winner of that game will play the winner of the Farmingdale-Massapequa game. Big surprise, Massapequa doing real well in the playoffs. Great win the other day with Mr. Hartung coming up with a dandy goal in overtime.
Brian Hartung had a great game. First-year coach over there, Sean Morrissey, not coaching in Massapequa. They got the new kid on the block. Who you going to bail me out here?
I will in a moment.
Steve Mollett?
Steve Mollett, that's
See, I bailed myself
you bailed
out.
yourself out. Came over from Walt Whitman, where he was a coach for many years. But let's get back to the action here because Levittown Division running out of time as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Marcus Mazza, the batter.
Showing a little bit of spunk in that dugout. Levittown Division up, not sitting down. Everybody on their feet trying to get something going. And if you're going to do it, you've got to do it now because you have 2, 3, and 4. Mazza, Tuttle, Izzo.
5-1, Levittown Division trailing. And Mazza will take a ball. He struck out his first time up, walked in the third inning, stole his 20th base of the year, but was left stranded as he was at second with nobody out there. You see the rhythmic applause trying to get the team going.
They got the rally caps on down there, too. The rally caps are on in the division dugout.
Mazza, little 5'7", 145-pound junior who, as we mentioned earlier, moved out from Queens where he played at Christ the King, first-year player, and done a tremendous job this year.
Yeah, the rally caps, a couple of them.
Spray hitter takes the ball, and he's on base for the second time. So Mazza, who had 2 walks yesterday, Carl, 2 more today. And it'll set it up for Tuttle. Now the big guys, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters who've been so silent in this playoff series have to come alive.
They've been silent. I also think they have to get up there and say, heck, I got to swing the bat. We're not here. We don't want to walk. I mean, they'll take the walk if the opportunity is going to exist. But you've got to get up there. Tuttle's the number 3 hitter. He's one of the leaders. He's a senior. You got to get it going. And if he can get in there and take a pop, he's got to.
Well, he'll take the first one for a strike. McGrory has only walked 3 batters today. And Mazza has drawn 2 of those 3 walks.
The one thing that you could go up at the plate for Levittown Division, you know McGrory will not overpower you.
You're going to get your rips against him. There's no question about it. He'll be around the plate. He'll battle you, as we've mentioned, as a changeup and mostly a location pitcher. Here's the set. In the dirt. Good-looking stop by Scarlatus to keep that one from being a wild pitch. So Tuttle has the count at 1-1, they say.
Now, he's got to look. He's got to be, in a way, selective. He's got to look for a pitch that he wants to drive. He's 1-1. He's got to be swinging the bat here.
Runner's going, and Mazza going to second. He is in safely. Good throw that time by Scarlatus. But Mazza, with the speed and the daring, with his club trailing 5-1, stealing second base here.
That little ear, our producer, Larry Roth, said that's gutsy. It is gutsy, and it's a gutsy call by Doug Robbins. But when you're in this situation, Doug Robbins said there is no tomorrow. You have to do what got you here. Levittown Division is a running club. Regardless of the score, they will run.
Swing and a miss. Tuttle went after the high fastball that time. McGrory putting a little heat on that one. Tuttle just not making contact.
Now he has to realize that they're losing 5-1. Yes, he wants to get a piece. Yes, he'd like to hit a long ball, but a long ball is not going to score 4 runs to tie it up. Take one at a time at this point.
McGrory to the plate. High fly ball, playable to the right fielder. Tierney shading his eyes. Mazza tagged up at second. He'll go over to third as the throw will be cut off by the shortstop, Maresco. Mazza moves to third, but there's one out on Tuttle's fly ball to right field. So he's been retired on 3 fly balls, twice to center field and once here now to right field.
He hit that ball a long way. He got his pitch. He was able to drive it. If he was able to turn his top hand over a little bit more, would have had a line drive. He was able to pull it, might have had one down the line. But the important play here is the stolen base. Mazza's smart enough. He tagged up. Now a run could come across. You take a run any way you can get it, but a smart play moving down to third on the tag up.
Izzo takes the first pitch for a strike. Izzo is 1 for 2. Reached on a swinging roller his first time up in the second. Popped up to the second baseman his second time up. And the big 6'2", 200-pounder takes the pitch.
Barry, I saw him over at Levittown Division in a playoff game, Izzo. They were trailing North Shore 5-3. Izzo got his pitch. He hit a home run that must have cleared the fence. I don't know how much, but it was probably about a 380-foot shot at Levittown.
Down the first base line. Good play by Prendamano as he kept the ball in front of him and hustled to the bag to make the play. That's a tough play. Hit off the end of the bat. A lot of spin on that ball off the right-handed batter's bat. And Prendamano makes the out on Izzo, but a run scores to make it 5-2.
Now, that's the tough spin there, but watch what Prendamano does. The ball's not getting through him. He blocked the ball. He said, it's not going past me. Kept it in front, scrambles, and gets the out at first. You're not worrying about the runner there. You will take an out. Give him the run, but get the out.
Well, there's a case of Levittown Division certainly manufacturing a run there, Carl. On a walk.
No hits. And they got a run.
A stolen base, a tag up on a sacrifice fly, but they're still down by 3. They got that 1 run back they gave up in the inning, but time running out. They're down to 7 outs.
Here's Mazza coming down the line. Now, they know, he knows that they're not even going for him at that point. Ball was hit to the right side, got to jump, get down the line. They don't want any part of you. They'll let you have home plate in that situation.
2 out, nobody on as Schneidler is batting. He's 0 for 1, as you can see. He walked in the second, struck out in the third. Waves at that one. So McGrory has just given up 3 walks in this game, and they haven't tagged him for many base hits, Carl. What do we have him for, about 4 hits in the game so far?
Well, they had, that's it, 4 hits. You know, it almost looks as if Levittown Division had the steam taken out of them yesterday. I know it was a hot day, but losing that game after coming back, tying it, and losing it in the bottom half of the inning, looks like it might have shattered them a bit.
Well, you can never say that a club like Levittown Division is dead because they did score 2 runs in the 7th inning yesterday, or a run in the 7th.
They scored a run in the 7th. There was 2 outs, nobody on, and they tied up the ball game. So this team never says die.
Outside, and, you know, Coach Pisano was right on the mark when he talked about McGrory. He said he's a battler. He'll keep you in the game. He won't look all that impressive blowing the ball by hitters, but he's only walked 3, only given up 4 hits in the 5th inning as he works with 2 out here. There is a line drive for a base hit number 5. So Mike Schneidler now 1 for 3, and he keeps the inning alive for Doug Robbins. What a chance for Robbins, who has power, Carl, to pop one here and get this one real close.
I think we're going to have a pinch runner, that re-entry rule, and it is number 20. Keith Motherway will come in and do the running as Schneidler comes off after getting that 2-out hit, keeping the inning alive. So Motherway will be the runner at first. So don't be surprised now. Remember, he ran with Mazza. Don't be surprised if Motherway gets down to second base, because then a base hit brings in another run. So it's typical Levittown Division baseball.
That is the confidence that they have in their running game. As you said, it is a big part of their game. Robbins takes the ball in the dirt. The runner will get down to second on a free pass right here.
Well, he won't have to steal now.
That's the first wild pitch that McGrory has thrown today, but more importantly, it gives Levittown Division a man in scoring position. A base hit now makes it a 5-3 game, and they still have 7 outs left, Carl.
Look at Walt Zarzicki behind the plate, the umpire. He is just soaked. He is just soaked. Yesterday, Mark Tan worked behind the plate. He was melting as he dripped off. Gary Goodside. I mean, even the base umpires were coming off. Remember, they can't come in between innings. They're out there the entire game. There's no rest.
Swing and a miss. Robbins ripping at that one.
Doug's just he has to be a little bit patient now. Just a little bit patient and make some contact, because a base hit will mean a run for Levittown.
Tapped on the right side, should be an easy play for Calora. He whips it over to first for out number 3. So Robbins, unable to help his own cause right there, is retired. Out number 3, and we have played 5 innings. And Levittown Division trailing by a score of 5-2.
People have been saying some pretty nice things about Apple Bank, which is making us blush a little and making other banks green with envy.
I've I've been with many banks over the years. Apple's definitely got some of the best rates around.
I'm a member of the Apple Bank family program, and I know I'm getting the best deal on everything.
That's what people are saying about Apple Bank. We're good for you.
Some of the fans enjoying the baseball action here at New York Tech.
Get them out in the sunshine. Come on, enjoy that sun.
And if you're a Plainedge fan, you're enjoying the action right now because the Red Devils just 2 innings away from winning their second county championship in the last 4 years.
And you're beating top dog for the last 2 years. So when you could beat somebody like that, boy, you've really earned the championship. It might be a little premature in speaking about it, but you do have to mention it because time is running out for the Blue Dragons.
Plainedge won their division, BC2, with a record of 20-1. They lost to Island Trees, their only loss, 7-3, and lost a non-league game to a good friend of yours, Joe Ciliano, as Locust Valley beat him 6-5.
Joe Ciliano had an outstanding season at Locust Valley. Great job by Joe.
So here we go with Plainedge now batting right here. And Greg Moresco is the batter. Chop foul. Moresco hit by a pitch his first time up, then was picked off. And then eventually reached on an error as a run scored back in the third. And that made it a 5-3 ball. He was retired in that inning. And he takes the ball right here.
Barry, through 5 innings, we said that Robbins is struggling. He's given up 7 hits. He's walked 4. He's given up 5 runs. Hasn't struck out a batter and has thrown the 2 wild pitches. One has come back to haunt him.
Well, I think that error that he made that really seemed to get on him. He seemed to lose some concentration, Carl, when he had runners at first and third. Looked like he was going to get out of a jam. It was a 2-1 ball game. And he tried to pick the runner off at first base. The wild throw, the error there, allowed the run to score. That made it 3-1, and he's given up a couple of runs after that. So Moresco takes up high right here.
But you know, with all the negatives that we've just spoken about, it's a 5-2 game. It's not 15-2, Plainedge. It's 5-2. You're talking about 3 runs that Levittown is trailing by.
Reached for a high pitch. Giving it a run is Tommy Tuttle. Oh, could not make the play. Overran the ball.
But that's a good effort. You see, Tuttle is not used to that. In high school baseball, the backstops are about 10 or 15 feet behind. You only have about depth of about 10 feet, and you have an overhang. Now, Tuttle knew that he had to play this ball. He takes 1 step too many and had to reach back. But that's a great effort because during the season, he doesn't make that play at all because it just hit the screen on top and comes straight down. And remember, it's his first year catching.
And he is going to be a dandy. There's no question about it. They really like the progress that he's made. Unbelievable progress is the way Doug Robbins described his progress. So here's Moresco, who'll be at St. Leo's College in Florida next year. Fine baseball school. Looks like it's going to be a foul ball, giving it quite a run is Joe DiMatteo. Now, if you haven't seen DiMatteo hit, he is being designated hit for in this game, but what a future this kid has as a shortstop, according to Doug Robbins. He will be a top-flight player. He reminds him of Tommy Hutchinson, Carl, who was one of the great Nassau County players who's starting at Yale.
Tommy Hutchinson was, could have been the greatest shortstop that this program, the Levittown division, ever had. And as you said, playing for Yale, might have been one of the finest players to ever come off of Long Island. And DiMatteo's got some tough shoes to fill, but if Robbins said that about him, you can believe Doug Robbins.
That will be up the alley in left center field. Moresco getting at least 1, and it maybe 2, and maybe 3 here. He rounds second. He's going to give it a shot. The throw to third. He will not be in time. It'll not be in time. Moresco in with a triple to start the 6th inning.
Well, the pitch was right over the plate, and he just drilled it to the best part of the ballpark in the alley. He just hit the rope. So the couple of hops to the fence, Barry, and there it goes.
It looked like Decker had a little trouble coming up with the ball initially when it hit the fence there, as he banged into the fence trying to get it.
Hey, you talk about banging into the fence. Did you see the highlight of the minor league affiliate out in Portland? This guy ran through the fence, Barry, made the cat, well, he dropped the ball. He actually ran through the fence. The fence was knocked down. Comes up with a broken nose.
Oh, my.
Ruled it a triple. That's what Dick Enberg would have said, oh, my. Fence just collapsed.
Here is John Prendamano at the plate. He has a count his way 2-0. John, 1 for 2, doubled back in the second, popped up in the fourth inning. A chance to knock another run in as you see the infield in. And that will draw at least one way back right center field. And Decker will watch it hit off the wall. And it'll be a long double for Prendamato, his second double of the ball game. And it's a 6-2 ball game for the Plainedge Red Devils.
And as quickly as Levittown Division came back with a run to cut it, here come the Plainedge Red Devils. They bang a triple, they bang a double, they've got another run. And Doug Robbins is out on the mound, and that's all for his son today. Watch Prendamato with the rope. Did not miss by much of hitting this one out, Barry. Found the gap, right center field. I believe it hits the fence on the fly. It does, the base of the fence. And Decker just picks it up. Prendamato goes in, and great round of applause. Team coming out, meeting Doug Robbins at the dugout. Prendamato going in there with the RBI double. And Doug Robbins is finished for this afternoon. Got to be a long walk back to the dugout for both father and son. His dad's still on the mound as Brian Garcia, the relief pitcher in the ball game for the Blue Dragons.
And it could be the windup of a brilliant career and his only loss this season for Doug Robbins, who came in with a record of 10-0. Be that as it may, Doug Robbins had a brilliant career at Levittown Division. But here today, Carl just didn't have it. 9 hits in 5+ innings, 4 walks. And I guess the real telling point is because we mentioned that he was a strikeout pitcher, had 82 strikeouts in 59 innings coming in, did not strike out a batter.
No, and that was pretty much his problem out there today. He did not have control, and remember, how many outs did he get from his defense on a couple of relay throws, a couple of stolen bases, and you know, and he gets knocked out of the game on John Prendamato's fastball RBI double off the fence in right center field that scored Greg Maresco, who tripled the batter before him. Prendamato not looking at all, sees the play right in front of him. Decker gave chase, but not able to do so, and Prendamato stops at second base. It's 6-2 in favor of Plainedge, and because of that hit that you just watched, Brian Garcia is on the hill.
All right, Carl, and talking about Garcia, he's a kid with good fastball. He's got a nice movement on his breaking ball. And as we mentioned, he's done a good job, 32 strikeouts in 21 2/3 innings. He's a relief specialist and has nice composure, the 5'11", 160-pound junior. And right now coming into the ball game with his club trailing 6-2.
And he's more of a 3/4. He won't come straight over the top. Really delivers more from 3/4. And we will get a look at Brian Garcia as Robbins makes that long walk back, and now talking with Tom Casey, one of his assistants. Hey, look, a good run. It's not over yet, but it was a good run while it lasted.
Here's Scarlatus at the plate, taking the first pitch from the right-hander Garcia for a ball. Scarlatus is 0 for 2, grounded out and flied out in the dirt, and it's 2-0.
Compassani down the line. You see Scarlatus is looking for a sign here. You want to build on it. Maybe try to hit the ball to the right side, get Prendamato down to third base.
He goes to the right side, looped into right center field. It'll drop for a base hit. Runner had held up. He's rounding third, and Prendamato will now come in to score on the base hit by J.R. Scarlatus. As they continue to hit the ball, that's the 10th base hit of the ball game. It's now 7-2 Plainedge.
That's just great hitting. There's no question about it. Had to give himself up, wanted to bring the runner down to third base and a chance to get him to score, and Scarlatus just poked at it, flipped his wrist. It goes out into right field. Just a great piece of hitting here. Went the other way. Pitch was down, smokes it out into right field. Prendamato comes around, and he scores run number 7. And there he is rounding third. You'll see his coach, Pisani, way down the line, says, "You're in there, baby," with run number 7.
I'll tell you, you know, a guy that has to be very happy is certainly Jim Pisani, but we'll talk about that in a moment as the bunt is mishandled by Garcia, and reaching base will be Greg Calora. So he's on for the first time. He had gone 0 for 2. How are we going to call that one, Carl? What do you
give him
think?
a sacrifice and an error on the pitcher.
And the error will go to Mr. Garcia, putting runners at first and second. And it'll set it up for the leadoff batter, Tom Tierney, who's had another fine ball game. He's 3 for 3.
He won yesterday's game in the bottom half of the 7th, and today he is 3 for 3 with 3 runs scored, has a stolen base. He's done it all.
Well, this team had a team ERA under 3. They scored, averaged 10 runs plus per game in their league play. They dominated league play, and they're dominating here today. Swing and a miss for Tierney, who singled to left in the first, doubled in the third to right, and singled in the fifth.
Tom Pisani, his coach, just come down the line and say, hey, come on, you're a better hitter than that. Don't go for a pitch up and in. You can't hit that ball. Wait for it down at the belt.
Breaking ball, nice pitch that time from Garcia.
Keeping it down and away.
Got the hitter in the hole. You know, Carl, we're talking about Tommy Pisani being delighted, and this is second year with a great effort, but how about Frank Francescini, who was the coach for 18 years and was the coach when Tom Pisani was an assistant. He's now come back after taking a year off and assisting Tommy Pisani. What a nice story that is.
Little role reversal, working together again.
And Frank Francescini won over 300 games in his 18-year career at Plainedge, so tradition continues with Mr. Pisani. So Tierney goes down on strikes, and Musmacher will be batting with runners at first and second, 2 out. He bunted his last time up in a sacrifice situation, and he is 0 for 2 officially. So Garcia trying to do a little damage control here and get out of the inning with only 1 run, or only 2 runs scoring. His club down by 5. They came into this inning trailing by 5 to 2, but they've given up 2 runs.
It's a tough day for Levittown Division, but they do have 2 sticks left. They have 6 outs.
Chopped on the right side. Scary ranging there, throws over to Garcia for out number 3. But 2 more, out number 2, I beg your pardon, Carl, correctly. Thank you. So runners now move up to second and third, and it'll be Matt Mushorn. Mushorn has been on base all 3 times. A couple of walks, and that triple that drove in the first run back in the first inning.
That's got to be one of the hardest things that I've never really talked to or asked the coach, is that all season long you play on your field or you play on the opponent's field, and you get familiar with fields. Now all of a sudden the playoffs come as a pitch is taken for a ball. And yesterday these guys are at Eisenhower Park. Today they're at New York Tech. They're playing on a different field, unfamiliar settings to one another, but they still manage to play good baseball.
Yeah.
Good teams will do that.
Well, you got to play wherever you play, and it's still somebody pitches, somebody's catching, and somebody's hitting.
Well, I said yesterday, the infield grass at Eisenhower Park, it was about 8 feet high, and I said to Doug Robbins, a couple of balls there that looked like could have gone through for you. You know what he said? They had to play on the same infield grass.
Loop to center field, and on hustling with the catch is Charlie Decker for out number 3, but 2 more runs to cross the plate. Mushorn is now retired. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and it is 7-2, Plainedge by 5.
Look what people are saying about Apple Bank.
Apple's my bank. I got everything from savings and checking to the mortgage on my summer place.
Apple's special to me. My wedding arrangements were all reserved, thanks to my Apple Visa card.
I'm a member of the Apple Bank family program, and I know I'm getting the best deal on everything.
That's what people are saying about Apple Bank. We're good for you.
We are back at New York Tech. Barry Landers along with Carl Reuter as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and Levittown Division facing a huge uphill battle because they trail 7-2, and Mr. McGrory, who doesn't look that impressive in terms of, you know, look at him pitching, Carl, all he does is do the job.
He gets the job done through 5, giving up 2 runs, 5 hits. He's walked 3 and struck out 3, but getting the job done for the Plainedge Red Devils.
Should the Red Devils win today, a bit of revenge, Carl, because 2 years ago in 1989, when Levittown Division went to the state finals, they played Plainedge quite a lot that year, including in the playoffs. They won 4 of the 5 games played against them, so this would be sort of like a little revenge for them.
A little redemption.
Well, you've seen Plainedge with defense, speed.
The thing is, I wonder if anyone from Miller Place is out here watching the ball game.
Well, Miller Place still has to play in the county tournament. They will have a chance at East Islip, unlike Nassau County. Suffolk still
Suffolk
maintains.
does that with basketball as well. They have the BCD guys all match up and play one another.
All right, a chance now for Levittown Division to try to get something doing. They're down now to their final 6 outs as Chris Scarry leads it off. He's the number 7 hitter.
And
And he's been on base twice. He's been the only guy really to master this young right-hander. He's had a couple of base hits.
Had an RBI single back in the second, and then singled again back in the fourth.
Contact hitter. The junior takes up high. Going to grow a little bit more into his body. He's going to be a power hitter, perhaps. 6'1 and a half, 165 pounds.
You just kind of get the feeling that this team has to explode one way or another. You don't know. I mean, it doesn't happen the next 2 innings. It's going to be next year, but there's something about Levittown Division.
You can't write them off.
No.
And as Yogi once said, it ain't over till it's over.
It ain't over. 3 times up and 3 times on base for the number 7 hitter. Now, Chris Smith.
Well, if you're Tom Pisani, you got to be a little bit concerned. McGrory went 5 innings in his last start, gave up just 4 hits and a couple of walks in that game. But now here he's pitching into the 6th inning on a hot day, Carl. He told us, hey, we want to win it right here today, and he may be asking him right now. He named a bunch of
guys. I said who's in the hall, and he named 3 or 4 guys. The one guy that he said if he has a chance to wrap it up and bring him in, maybe pitch to a batter or 2, would be Donnie Whiston, his center fielder. It's too early because it's a 5-run lead. We're only in the 6th. The Pisani goes back.
Excuse me, Carl. Prendamano can also do some pitching. He's the first baseman. So we'll see what happens here. But a leadoff walk issued to Chris Scarry, and here's Chris Smith, the batter. Smith reached on a fielder's choice and flied out his second time up, so he's 0 for 2. And McGrory missing up high. His control has been pretty good, Carl.
He's walked 3 in 5 innings. He struck out 3, and he's giving up the 5 hits so far. And remember, one of those hits was an infield hit by Mark Izzo. That coming back in the 2nd inning.
Good stop on that pitch in the dirt by Scarlatus. We've seen excellent work behind the plate by both catchers today.
2 good catchers. We've been blessed over the years. No matter what games we've done, the team seemed to have good backstops.
Smith, the former lacrosse player. Notice how he holds his bat, Carl.
Almost as if he's cradling a lacrosse stick.
I was just going to say that.
But we talked about that unusual stance.
You think Jimmy Amon taught him that stance?
Says, look, it works in scoring goals. It'll work in getting hits. Do it. Maybe that was Amon's last thing that he said on his way to Bethpage.
Oh, McGrory digging himself an unnecessary hole. He's got a 5-run lead. Starting the 6th inning, he walks the 2 first batters. And there's life yet for Levittown Division. If they get a big hit, Carl, keep this rally going.
Well, Decker is up, the number 9 hit. He struck out swinging back in the 2nd with the bases loaded, but then he kept the inning alive in the 4th with a hard base hit to right field. And here comes Tom Pisani.
Tom Pisani, at the age of 28, former Herrick's High School baseball and basketball and soccer star. He teaches over in his school in Plainedge, and he is going to make a pitching change right here. And good hand from the Plainedge fans. There are a lot of them here as they salute Mr. McGrory as he heads to the bench.
Just a lot of fans here in general. He did an outstanding job. He went 5 innings plus the 2 hitters. Gave up 2 runs, 5 hits, walked 5, and struck out 3 batters. And whose responsibility will it be now is coming into the ball game?
We will see. We did not have a view of the relief pitcher working. I believe we may get Prendamano moving to the mound. So Prendamano, number 16, who will move from the first base to the pitcher's mound.
Well, who goes over
No,
to
let
first?
me just check that.
Is that Prendamano, number 16?
I'll have to check that out, Carl.
No, it's Donnie Whiston, number 16,
right.
who's coming into the ball game. Thanks, Larry.
Prendamano is number 6. I beg your pardon. I saw the 6 there.
Now let's see who's going to be the center fielder for Donnie Whiston. Now, Tom Pisani, okay, now let's second guess a little bit here. Let's have some fun. He told us 5 minutes before the game he's not bringing Whiston in unless he has a chance to wrap it up, maybe pitch to a batter or 2 with a chance to win it all. Now, that chance to win it all is in the 7th inning, not the 6th inning. He's going bread and butter in the 6th inning. He wants this thing now.
Well,
he's changed his mind since a couple of hours ago.
Well, when you get this close, Carl, you can taste it.
Well, he can taste it then.
And he was, of course, the basketball coach that coached the championship team when he was a 25-year-old coach just 3 years ago.
They're having a little huddle. talking it over, saying, guys, look, we want to win. We're very close to it, but heck, it's Levittown Division. And they want to force a game 3.
Whiston, as a pitcher, Carl, is the hardest thrower on the team. And as you mentioned, basically they only want to use him in relief. He has an excellent curveball. And if he's on, he can freeze you at the plate with that curveball.
There's a meeting of the minds. Tom Casey on the left, Doug Robbins on the right. Now I want to see who's going into center field for Whiston. Is McCrory good enough? That might be a double switch because there's a guy throwing out in right field. Going out.
Tierney is going out from moving from right to center field.
Tierney's going to center field.
And did we get the number of the right fielder, Carl?
The right fielder was warming up down the line. He was just getting a couple of tosses, and if he turns around, and that looks like Cataldo might have come out of the DH spot. They might have gone with Dom Cataldo in right field. I'm guessing, though.
All right. We'll try to pick up that number, but more importantly, we get back to the action here.
That looks like Cataldo's size out in right field.
Whiston now will face Charlie Decker.
Here you go.
2 on, none out. Levittown Division batting in the 6th, trailing 7-2.
Now go back and see how important the 2 runs were that Plainedge just picked up.
Whiston looks like he can throw hard, as we mentioned. That is his scouting report.
But how hard and how long can he throw for? Will it be just a batter or 2? Will it be an inning? Can he go 2 innings?
I'll tell you, Carl, we've seen the first 2 pitches that he's thrown here have been faster than either of the starting pitches thrown today.
It's getting loud.
And that one taken for a ball.
Hey, look, you can throw as hard as you'd like, but if you can't find the plate, it doesn't mean a darn thing. And he's got pressure on him. I don't care if he might be their closer. You come into a championship game, even though you're leading by 5 runs, you now have runners at first and second. You're behind in the count to a guy that hit a rope his last time up for a base hit, and the top of the order due for Levittown.
Well, you know that he'll be probably taking here. They need runners down by 5. Whiston making his 2nd appearance in the playoffs. Pitched 2 innings, gave up a hit, and struck out a batter.
Ooh, that's some heat. That is heat.
Blew that one by Decker on the late swing. So the count 2-2 with 2 on, nobody out.
Terry Stanley, the leadoff hitter, on deck.
Whiston during the regular season had no record, worked 8 innings and struck out 11 in those 8 innings. Up high, and the count runs full. Or is it even?
No, it's a full count.
Yeah.
Full count. Walt Zarzicki giving us 2 fists for a full count. You know it's been a good game because nobody's complained about the strike zone Zarzicki has had today. Hasn't even been a second look by a coach or a player.
Payoff pitch down low, and 3 consecutive walks have loaded it up for the top of the order for Terry Stanley. And what a spot for Stanley, last year's county MVP tourney guy, but struggling right now, Carl, with the problems that he had with the rib, not really swinging the bat very well.
And he had the bad hamstring, but the last time he was in a situation like this, he come off the bench against North Shore, had a bases-loaded single right up the gut, scored 2 runs, got them going. Levittown Division has a chance to do it right here again.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Levittown Division trailing by 5 as they bat in the 6th inning, next to last inning. Breaking ball, and it just misses.
Look, I just said nobody second-guessed Zarzicki at all, and Scarlatos just turned his shoulder and looked back at Walter.
Stanley with 21 RBIs. He scored 40 runs this year, one of the leaders on the club. He can get on base. Takes inside, no place for this guy.
You know, the worst feeling by a coach is knowing that the pitcher is having trouble throwing strikes. If they hit the ball, there's a chance to get an out. If he doesn't put the ball over the plate, you're helpless.
Whiston to the plate, down low.
This is the merry-go-round is in motion here.
Boy, what about the stomach of Mr. Pisani? If you're in that dugout right now, you have a 5-run lead. As you said, Carl, it's not anything that they're doing. It's something that you're doing as a ball club, especially your pitching staff.
I don't know if he might have gone a little bit too soon with that hook. Maybe give him McCrory one more hitter.
And that one is in there.
31 is the count.
3-1 to the leadoff batter, Terry Stanley. 0 for 4 in this series. And he walks to force a run.
Oh, brother, you...
And that will bring the tying run to the plate in peppery little Marcus Mazza. 4 consecutive walks, 2 by starting pitcher Bob McGrory, and 2 more by reliever Donnie Whiston.
And when you're being squeezed with a strike zone and you're having trouble finding it, it doesn't help that a guy like Marcus Mazza, Barry, you might have his height. I don't think he could be more than 5'6", 5'7". So your strike zone is now shrinking increasingly with the next hitter.
And Mazza, of course, has walked his last 2 time up, Carl, and has stolen a couple of bases after that. So,
you know, you're looking at 7-3, a base hit 7-5, and Zarzicki talking to Pisani. I'm going to take these headsets off.
And we'll see if we can find out what's going on right now. Score is 7-3 in case you're just tuning in. Plainedge has led from the very outset of this ball game. When they scored 2 in the first, they led 2-1, then made it 5-1, 5-2, and they've opened up the lead right now of 7-3. Levittown division batting in the bottom of the 6th inning. They have the bases loaded, nobody out, and the number 2 batter Marcus Mazza at the plate.
Couldn't really tell what was going on, but Zarzicki looked at Pisani, and they both kind of nodded. I think more of a discussion than any kind of an argument.
And Whiston throws that one with some heat for a strike.
Now, they're going to give him a run. They'll give him the run. And on a ground ball, they're not looking at the plate. Unless it's hit right at first or third, they will definitely be looking for a double play.
Down low, that'll even the count at 1-1. Whiston, in 8 innings pitched this year, as we said, used almost exclusively as a reliever. Walked 2 batters, struck out 11, so he generally has good control based on those numbers. Bounce to the third baseman, a chance here. Mushmacher steps on third, no play at first base as the throw to first base came a little bit late. Run scores, and it's a 7-4 ball game with runners now at first and second. So Mushmacher did the smart thing, got the force, the potential lead runner there.
That's a smart play because you just get in out. You have the opportunity to go to any base, so why not take the base right in front of you? Mushmacher does that, has the high hopper, just runs over, touches third. Now, a good throw would have been a double play here, but threw it a little bit off balance, and he pulls Prendamano off the bag. Mazza with the good speed, but you still have a rally going.
Tough, though, to double up that guy as Tommy Tuttle steps in, takes the fastball up high.
And remember, Tuttle did fly out to right field his last time up, but he did hit the ball hard. He did hit it a long way. He also flew out earlier in the game in the first inning with a deep fly to center field.
He's gotten the ball up in the air. If he can get it into the breeze, could be different. He is the tying run at the plate, and he takes outside.
And that flag is blowing out towards right field right now.
Tommy Tuttle batting with 2 on, 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Levittown division trailing by 3. Strike called by the plate umpire Wally Zarzicki.
Might be more conducive for Tuttle to be facing a guy like Whiston. Has a little bit more pop. He's forced to get that bat around a little bit quicker.
Had a good playoff so far, Tuttle. Swings and misses that one. He reached out for that one. Looked like he was trying to go to left center field. There's a big gap out in left center field. The center fielder.
They're playing him to pull on the right side. They're playing him straight away as a right-handed hitter in the left field. But you can't swing from your heels and hit the ball.
And the pitch. Breaking ball misses. It hung up high. And the count runs full. 3-2.
Now, does Robbins have this merry-go-round going with 3-2 first and second? It's a clean shot for Scarlatus if Tuttle went down swinging to try to get a strikeout double play at third base.
Here's the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. And Tuttle goes down on strikes. The biggest strikeout of the ball game. Right here for Plainedge, and setting it up for Mark Izzo with 2 on and 2 out, and his club still trailing by 3.
You're still in trouble, even though Tuttle goes down, and he's the number 3 hitter. You're dealing with Mark Izzo, who does have power. This is power against power. The right-handed stick of Mark Izzo, the right-handed arm of heat from Donnie Whiston.
Izzo has a couple of homers, 27 RBIs on the year.
They just play deep for him.
Moves him back as it bent him back. First pitch for a ball.
This is the type of situation, if he does drive one to the outfield, everything's in front of you. You don't want anything over your head now. You don't want to play it into extra bases if you don't have to.
Izzo with a swinging roller for base hit. He's 1 for 3, and that's in for a strike. So Whiston trying to get out of the jam. He came on after The starting pitcher, McGrory, walked the first 2 batters. He walked 2 himself to force in a run.
He's trying to draw a beat on Whiston to get some speed in there.
Down low. 2 balls and a strike. You see some of the crowd into it.
They were into it yesterday. They've been in it. I mean, it's just great community. Plainedge and Levittown division just come out and they say, heck, we're watching our teams play ball.
3-1 as he misses inside.
All right, here's the pitch now. Izzo has got to be looking for a pitch in a certain area. It's 3-1. He should say to himself, if it's a fastball on the inside part of the plate, I want to do this. If it's on the outside part, this is where he can be very, very selective.
Well, this young man has been a clutch hitter throughout his fine career. Going to Amherst College next year, and he takes a look, and it's a strike.
All right, he didn't like it. The pitch was on the outside part of the plate. He wanted to get something where maybe he could jack out of the ballpark.
Izzo, one of the better students in the school with over 1,200 on his SATs. Going to have to be a smart hitter here, and he takes a ball to load the bases and set it up for Mike Schneidler.
Oh, boy, and his dad will go crazy now.
Recall they have the bases loaded. They have scored 2 runs in this inning without a base hit, and they've got a chance on 1 hit to pick up the lead.
A couple more runs here. Yeah, they can clean the bases here if they need, if the situation happens here. There's got to be one crazy guy running around the ballpark, and it's Howie Schneidler, and I'm just trying to find him. He's probably hiding. Very superstitious guy.
Well, Schneidler represents the go-ahead run. Bases are loaded.
Had a hit his last time up, Barry. Had a nice, hard-hitting, ringing single his last time up.
He occasionally has power. Takes a ball inside the senior. And right now, Whiston getting himself in a bit of a jam after coming up with the bases-loaded walk to force in a run.
Even though, well, he'll see what happens.
And that is taken for a ball. Bases are loaded here. It's a 7-4 ball game.
Oh, a humdinger yesterday, and it's getting to that point if he risks one here.
Out to the left fielder, and it should be an easy catch from Matt Mushorn, and it is. So Mike Schneidler is retired on the fly ball to left field, and Whiston comes on and gets out of the jam, although he gave his coach and Plainedge fans a few heartbeats jumping there. We go now to the top half of the 7th inning. 1 more inning to go, and the Red Devils leading by 3.
Hence, everybody's ready to go. Biggest inning
Gotta
of the year
stay
right
up.
here.
We want it.
We got it, guys. Hey, now, smell it. We're going to take these guys. You got enough now.
A commitment to intellect, a commitment to you. In the true tradition of liberal learning, Adelphi provides a new era of education and self-exploration.
There's a lot of big school atmosphere, but at the same time, it's very personalized. The classes are small, and the professors know who you are.
For more information, write to the Office of Admissions at Adelphi University, Garden City, New York, 11530. Experience the commitment. Experience Adelphi University.
Back at New York Tech, and want to thank the people here at New York Tech, Carl, for their hospitality. Every time we come back for these playoffs, we just can't be treated any.
Well, Bobby Hirschfield, the head baseball coach here at New York Tech, his assistant Bobby O'Brien, and O'Brien, of course, the last name of his dad, Bernie O'Brien, who's the executive director of Nassau County Sports, and he was out here working on the field early this morning and getting it ready, and we get treated very well here. Good camaraderie between Nassau County and the New York Tech people, and we thank them because this is a great facility to do a ball game from.
Plainedge on the verge of winning their 15th in a row, and their last loss, Carl, they were no-hitted by Derek Adair, outstanding freshman pitcher in Nassau County. And I believe that was their last loss. They have just gone on to dominate, as we said, winning the close games, and obviously today winning this one as we head now to the 7th inning.
Isn't it strange how you would say 2 teams in the Nassau County Finals were no-hit in their last losses? I mean, think about it. Plainedge, the last time they lost, you said, was a no-hitter. And then the first round of the playoffs, Rob Sachs of Bethpage, no hits. Levittown division, Bethpage wins the game 1-0, and Bethpage only had 1 hit in that game for themselves.
Right. Well, Plainedge, they lost a couple of real fine players. Anthony Russo, who was a star running back at St. John's last year, and Mike Guarini, who's at Yale playing first base, but they've come back with a vengeance as they lead this one as they bat here in the top half of the 7th inning. And a 7-4 lead they possess. And the man of the hour right now, Donnie Whiston, who came on and got him out of the big Jan batting. Whiston reached on an infield single and had an RBI in the first inning, walked in the third, walked again in the fifth, so he is officially 1 for 1.
All right, I'm going to tell you something in a moment. Even though Plainedge is batting, Gary Rothschild doing stats here. All right, top 5, Levittown order, Barry, 2 for 15. Number 1 hitter 0 for 3. Number 2 hitter 0 for 2. Number 3 hitter 0 for 4. The 4 and 5 hitters 1 for 3 apiece. You can't win if the top 5 hitters aren't going to swing the bat.
Well, Carl, they didn't have many hits yesterday either, if you think of it, in that 3-2 loss to Plainedge. And Donnie Whiston walks for the 3rd time as he'll start the 7th inning with a base on balls. Working against Brian Garcia, who will leave the starting pitcher Doug Robbins. Back in the 6th inning when Robbins ran into trouble. So here's Dom Cataldo, the designated hitter. And the fire plug Dom Cataldo.
Remember before you said, boy, can he turn? And then quickly did you say that he doubles out to left center field earlier in the game?
Well, we told about the moonshots this guy hits. He hit a moonshot his last time up to the shortstop, a high pop-up. Doubled back in the first. Was thrown out at third. Runner going. Whiston with great speed is in there, but out at second base.
I don't know about that, and I don't know about that.
Marcus Mazza with the tag, Carl, but it was
That's
close.
a great throw by Tuttle. That's a great tag by Mazza, but let me tell you something. Whiston has a legitimate beat coming off the field because his hand was on the bag, the tag was on his back. And too many times in baseball, it's an automatic call. Watch it. Watch his hand, and then watch the tag. He's in. I'm sorry, Mark Pan, but he was in there. Let's get another look. We'll take another angle from it, from behind. Let's see if his hand is in, it's in, and the tag is high. That's a stolen base. Good reason to complain.
Mark won't be doing like Ronnie Heff, providing us with any goodies after the game today.
Mark's a good guy. I talked about him yesterday. I thought he missed a call, and everybody in the ballpark thought he did. Mark saw it differently. And we talked about it after the game. These guys do such a great job, but there are times where they might miss a call. And the shame of it all is, even on the major league level, it's that automatic. It looks like it's bang, bang, and you're out of there. Too many times the hand is in, and the tag is made on the backside or the back of the player.
Good point, Carl.
It's aggravating as a guy who's been out there and has played. I'm getting furious now.
Calm down, Mr.
I will
Reuter.
calm down. I'll calm down.
It's too hot to get excited.
That's true.
Cataldo drills one up the alley in right center
And
field,
that's a
and he'll
run.
go for another base hit, his second of the ball game. He'll pull into second base as they continue to sting the ball, this Plainedge team. And they have a 7-4 lead. They've got a runner at second, and we've got one man out for Greg Morasco, rather.
You see, now, another reason for Whiston and maybe Tom Fasani to be a little bit upset, because here you have a guy like Cataldo who drives his second double of the game. If Whiston has gotten called safe on that stolen base, it's another run. Now remember, Levittown division is fighting their way back. It's 7-4.
Still
that
within
could have been
striking
8-4.
distance. Fresco takes the first pitch for a strike. He was on base back in the second when he was hit by a pitch. Bounced out his second time up, and then triple call to start that 6th inning rally. Those runs figured big as they came up with a couple of runs in that inning. Eventually scored on a Prendamano double.
Still have some warm-up action, too. Throwing behind Garcia, Barry's left-hander, number 30, Ken Davis for Levittown division. So Doug Robbins continues to have those wheels in motion.
Ken Davis, very highly regarded young left-hander. Big, rangy kid. And they expect some big things from him in the future. That one taken at the knees for a strike 3. They didn't like the call. Moresco goes down on strikes for the first time.
All of a sudden, I said earlier, an inning ago, that nobody was saying anything, giving a second look to the umpires. Now Zarzicki gets a second look on the strikeout by Moresco. Whiston was mad that he got thrown out when he stole the base, making a lot of friends. I don't think I'll be invited to that dinner.
Well, they still invite you to Salisbury Park, Carl. That's where the big dinner will be held.
I know, you'll be there. It's free.
Free? Absolutely
I
free.
know that.
I've never missed a meal in my life, Carl. Especially when it was free. Oh, drill by Prendamano for a base hit. Runner around third. He will score easily. Throw will bounce in. Could not be cut off. And John Prendamano, who had a ringing RBI base hit his last time up, comes up with another RBI base hit here to make it an 8-4 ball game.
Boy, just another good piece of hitting by Prendamano. Now 3 for 4 in the ball game, Barry. His second RBI just drives this one off of Garcia. Just a rope out into right field. No chance at all for Chris Smith to throw out Cataldo, who comes around after having doubled.
One of the things that Tom Pisani said about this, if we've got hitters throughout the lineup, Carl, there's no weak spots. We can hit you at the top, we can hit you in the middle, or even at bottom of order, and we've seen that today.
And they've done that, and I think that's one of the reasons that they're leading right now 8-4 is because of that situation. Look at this,
And drilled for Scarlato's second base hit. He had an RBI back in the 6th inning. Having trouble falling down was a left fielder there. Runner will try to score, and he will score as the throw cut off at the mound. And another base hit plates Prendamano, and now they can sense the victory. It's a 9-4 ball game on Scarlato's base hit, his second RBI base hit in the last 2 innings, as he winds up on second with a double.
You're giving him a double?
Well, single and an error.
I think it was a single and an error. We'll take another look. I think he would have scored anyway. He was running with 2 outs, but Scarlatos with a rope. Now let's make sure. Let's watch what happens here. Who races over? It's Decker. It does not pick it up cleanly. And then Stanley has to come from behind and make the play. Now, because of that, Prendamano does come around.
Let's give him a double, Carl. I don't know, Will. Who do you score the error on?
You have to give the error to the center fielder, Decker, for allowing the runner to go down to second, and then Prendamano coming around. But since you're such a generous guy, hey, it's the end of the year. It appears that they're going to win the championship. We'll go with a double. I'll take the E8 away.
So here's Greg Calora looking for a base hit. Just about everybody's been had a base hit. Let's look through the lineup, except Musmacher. Let's see, Whiston has had one. Musmacher, you go through that, Carl.
Sure, I do all the hard work.
Right.
Go ahead. You go have all the glory.
I'm talking too much anyway. Here's Calora taking the next one.
Calora doesn't have a hit, Barry. Musmacher doesn't have a hit, but Musmacher does have a sacrifice.
Okay. Calora batting with 2 out in a 9-4 ball game. So every time Levittown Division has come back to make a little noise, Plainedge answers right back. Tapped into short right center field. Over quickly is Chris Smith to make the catch, and that'll do it. And it's now down to the final 3 outs of the ball game, and Levittown Division about to be dethroned as Nassau County champs.
Tech Center, the power to succeed.
Barry, you know how we talked earlier about how the Levittown Division lineup wasn't doing it from the top 5 spots. They were only 2 of 15. Conversely, for the guys from Plainedge who appear to be on their way to the Nassau County B title, 7 of 14 for the top 5 hitters with 6 runs scored. The only guy that doesn't have a hit in that is the number 2 hitter in the lineup is John Musmacher, but I did mention that he did have a sacrifice, so he was involved in the play, moving runners around.
Well, we mentioned that this Plainedge team, like the Levittown Division team, they'll beat you in a lot of different ways. They've stung the ball today. They got a gutsy starting effort from Bob McGrory, who worked the first 5 innings, struggled a little bit in the 6th inning, walking a couple of batters, running out of gas, giving up just 5 base hits. And then Whiston made it a little interesting, Carl, when he had problems with his control. Walked in a couple of batters. It was a 7-4 ball game, but he gutsed it out, came up with a couple of big outs against the middle of the order, and now they've opened up the lead here and appear to have what is a comfortable lead as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning of 5 runs.
And the man to lead it off will be Paul Tonelli, batting in Doug Robbins' spot. Now, Paul Tonelli, also a good stick. He's going to have to try to get something going here. In that comeback win against North Shore, he come off the bench and I believe had a pinch hit double.
So here we go with Tonelli batting. He'll lead it off here in the 7th inning, batting in Doug Robbins' spot, to be followed by Chris Scari, who has 2 hits in the ballgame. He's been the only guy to do much offensively. And Whiston trying to wrap it up here and send Plainedge to its 2nd county championship in the last 4 years.
I think he's going to air it out too, Barry. I think Whiston's just coming with heat to get the heck out of here.
Looped into right center field. It will drop. So Tonelli starts it off, keeping it alive with a base hit to right center field, setting it up for Chris Scurry, who's been on base all 3 times with 2 singles and a walk.
And the 7th hitter in the lineup has done it. And let's see who's coming in. We're going to get the man who scored the tying run yesterday. Ling Tse is coming into the ball game, number 30 run. Now, he scored the tying run yesterday, so Ling Tse will be the pinch runner.
All right.
And he can fly.
We'll keep an eye on him, even though they're trailing 9-4. 9-4.
Yeah, down 5, yeah.
Right. So Scary stepping in. Whiston gets a strike. Scary trying to turn away from that one.
You know, they can sense it here. You know, they're quiet, but they want to be rowdy. But they don't want to be rowdy because they haven't won it yet. But they just want to explode and win this thing.
Their defense has been outstanding all year. They've been great kids, according to Pisani. They make very few mistakes on the field.
Drive you crazy. He just throws a heat fastball for a strike, comes back with a breaking ball down and away.
High on the breaking ball, did not drop. Plainedge back in '88 when they won the county championship, beat New Hyde Park for the title, then beat Shoreham-Wading River in the Long Island Championship, lost to Peru High School in the state semifinals. They'd like another shot at that. Back to Whiston, throw to second, on to first, they turn the double play. Looked like the safe sign first, and then the call was made. Good throw by Greg Moresco from second base as the shortstop rifled it on for the double play.
Gary Goodside was going to call him out the entire way. He just got crossed up. You could see that there was no chance at all that he would be called safe. And Moresco coming across that bag with a sweet-looking pivot. Watch Moresco. Good comeback. Whiston just spins. Now watch Moresco come across the bag. Watch this. Just gets up out of the way of the runner. That side-on torso. The runner goes down. Now, you know he was safe. Goodside knew it all the way. He knew it all the way that double play would be called. So this is it, Barry.
This is it for the 2-time defending Long Island champions, Levittown Division. Can they stay alive right here? Doug Robbins and his ball club trailing by 5 as they bat here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Whiston trying to wrap it up. And Decker takes the ball. Or check that, Chris Smith takes a ball. Decker, the on-deck batter.
Well, you're going to see some guys piling out of that dugout, Barry.
They're ready to explode.
You got to look. I mean, look, they know it. Now you know it. I mean, when you're winning by 5, 2 outs, nobody on, 7th inning.
It will not end here as Chris Smith just taps that one out into right field for a base hit. His first base hit as he walked his last time up. So it's still up now to Charlie Decker, the number 9 hitter. Well, the Blue Devils the Blue Jackets have had such an incredible streak that right now they'll need a miracle. This team won the state championship in '84, Carl. Won the counties in '84, '85, '87, '89, and '90.
Long Island champs, '84, '87, '89. State champs in '84, 13 straight league titles.
They won the last 2 Long Island championships in '89 against John Glenn, Mr. Garside, the great John Glenn pitcher. In '90, they beat Shoreham-Wading River.
Going to Providence on a full ride to pitch up there, John Garside.
And, of course, the winner of this game will play Miller Place, the team that upset Shoreham-Wading River this year. So Levittown Division and Shoreham-Wading River, perennial champs, not going to make it this year, apparently.
No, they not. Shoreham-Wading River, Sal McManus club.
And Decker takes the next pitch, so trying to get on base somehow.
I was waiting for this, and I'm really happy it's finally arrived. Only Ronnie Heft in 95-degree weather will bring me flying saucers to melt.
And that's in for a strike.
You gotta love Ronnie Heft. We've got a cooler. There's Tom Pisani. They're ready to win this thing. His way up the hill. He's got flying saucers melting in his hands.
And here's the pitch. Breaking ball. Oh, they wanted that one. Whiston jumping off the mound.
Ronnie Heft. Well, he got a cooler. I'm going to give everybody. Ronnie Heft.
Will be working the second game.
Going to be working the East Meadow Calhoun game. The Heifer.
So here we go to Decker. 2 out. Down to the final pitch here, perhaps. Runner goes, swing and a miss.
That's it, baby.
The Red Devils are Nassau County Class B champions. 15th win in a row, and the fans up on their feet applauding.
Nassau County Class B champs, Plainedge. And in true athleticism and good sportsmanship, they will shake hands with Levittown Division. And the first guy out there is Doug Robbins.
Well, no fluke about this sweep of these two-game series. As you see, the B champs.
B champs, they're there. The A champs will be crowned on the LISN. Maybe. Maybe. But there they go. You cannot deny Plainedge at all. They beat the best.
And a nice feeling for Frank. Also over there, the assistant coach now, but the former head coach for so many years. So, Carl, Plainedge wins it, and the totals tell it pretty much the story. Levittown Division losing it by a score of 9-4. And we'll be back with our post-game comments in just a moment.
You said I need a friend. We had a hand to lend to keep you safe, to show you where. Some good advice to say take care. A drugstore in your neighborhood. Ooh, you're looking good. You're looking good at Genevieve. We'll take good care of you.
Back on the field, I'm Barry Landers with our Apple Bank and Mono. Nassau County B champs, how does it sound?
It feels great. We've been working, we worked all year, and this is what I've been waiting for, and when you finally get it, it feels great. I mean, I can't describe the feeling.
John, you personally had a big ball game yesterday, 2 for 3, a great ball game. You won 3-2. Today, you dominated this game. No fluke that Plainedge is the best team right now.
No, we felt like that all year. But, you know, everyone was playing division up, and, you know, we wanted to face them. We never seen them before. We never played them before. But we looked forward to it, and we worked hard all year, and it was in the back of our minds all year.
What do you like about this team?
We're close together. We really are. We've been tight. We're all friends, you know. It's just great. We work hard. We're always at the practices and stuff.
A chance for a state championship now, huh?
Yeah, it's a dream come true.
All right, John Prendamano, our Apple Bank MVP. He had 3 hits today, drove in a couple of runs. Let's go to Carl Reuter.
All right, Barry, thanks very much. Tom Pisani, the winning coach. We talked before the ball game. You said if you had a chance to win it, maybe you were going to bring in Donnie Whiston a little bit. Well, we're still here, and I'm soaked, but we're going to continue. I am drenched. Let's do this. You told me you were going to bring Donnie Whiston in, maybe to pitch to a batter or two. You brought him in a little bit earlier. Did you change your thinking during the course of the game?
If we had a chance, you know, we were up by a few and we thought we could end it today. We wanted to bring in our guns and end it today. And Donnie's our hardest thrower and he's our best relief pitcher. And such a hot day, I thought Bobby ran out of gas a little bit. So we came with him, we took a chance, and we're happy we did that.
To be the best, you had to play the best. You had to knock them off.
Exactly. You know, they won it 2 straight years. We wanted a shot at them. You know, as John said, they've been in the back of our minds all year. We haven't said anything. We had to get through our league season, through the playoffs before we had any shot at them. But, you know, the kids have been waiting hard all year to get a shot at them. And, you know, you want to play the best and beat the best, like you said.
I have one last question. All during the course of Long Island baseball, everyone knows about Levittown Division, and it was almost like a camouflage that nobody knew about Plainedge. You knew you were there.
Oh, we knew we were there. Frank Franceschini, my assistant, who took a year off last year and was here for 18 years, built this program up to one of the top programs around, won over 300 games in his career. And, you know, 3 years ago, we won the B title. So, you know, we're a program to be reckoned with. We got great kids. We got very talented kids. And we're happy with the job that we do over there.
Good luck in the Long Island B title game. Congratulations. I got more wet than you did, but I'll be able to dry up. It's a real hot day. And, Barry, Nassau County beat champs. Now I know why you wanted me to interview the coach. You knew this was going to happen. Does Cablevision pay for this?
You'll dry off, Carl. Sweet victory. Nassau County beat champs as the Plainedge Red Devils do it, knocking off Levittown Division. Today's game has been brought to you by our friends at Apple Bank for Savings. But we want to remind you before that we have more action coming your way. The Lacrosse Championships, the Nassau County A and B Championships, followed by the Long Island Championships, then Long Island's participation in the New York State playoffs. Today's game has been brought to you by Apple Bank for Savings. We're good for you. By Adelphi University, a commitment to intellect. By Genovese. You're looking good at Genovese. We'll take good care of you. And by the Bosties Tech Center. For Carl Reuter, Larry Ross, Gary Rothschild, Rich Martinetti, and all our crew, including a wet Carl Reuter, this is Barry Landers saying, so long, everybody.
Don't go away, lots more coming up. E's entertainment coverage continues with a look at the behind-the-scenes comedy about soap opera life, which opens today. Also, straight ahead, singer Pat Benatar recalls some